welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena. Post-fight show. Guess we were a little bit too tired yesterday, so we didn't have that post-fight show. But now you are getting it. That's right. Charlo brothers, both victorious. That was a crazy night. Crazy fight. Controversy in the second fight. So that with the Jermall Charlo, the Jeison Rosario, some people are claiming that Jeison Rosario took a dive. We're going to be talking about that. But first, let me introduce Stu Little. Stu, are you there?
What's up, man, Butch?
What's up, man? Did you fall asleep yesterday before the main event?
I caught Jermall Derevyanchenko, and I fell asleep for the Jermell fight, but I caught that today.
All right. Perfect. Well, so you're up to date. By the way, guys, I forgot to give you a shout out. Iceman, SSB28, Lubac 77, Wesley Mitchell, John Gonzalez, Unravel Boxing Talk and News, Mr. BDA is in the chat, Brian Harkin, Blue Collar Sports TV, Del Boy, the Trivia TKO champion, Jay Perez, Jonathan Morrison. Guys, welcome to the show. We're going to open the phone lines and StreamYard so you guys can tell us what you thought about the fights. All right, Stu, you begin. Tell us. Let's start with the Derevyanchenko Jermell Charlo fight. Your thoughts?
Well, it went how I thought it would. I said a wide Charlo points decision, and that's how it was for me. I had Charlo by 4 rounds, I think. Derevyanchenko did exactly what I thought he would. He'd give Charlo a good fight, but just wouldn't do enough on the night. And look, Charlo was throwing the classier work. Derevyanchenko, there was times with Derevyanchenko was putting it on Charlo, but then when Charlo would just land with 2 classy shots, it sort of cancelled the Derevyanchenko workout, if you get what I'm saying. I thought Jermall was very good last night. And the guy can hold a shot. I said to you before, these Charlo kids are tough as they come. They really are. They were just lacking something for me. But for last night, they were both, well, you've got to take your hat off to them. But, you know, I had a feeling that Jermall would just be a bit too much for Derevyanchenko. And I was right, you know, the wars caught up with Derevyanchenko. And look, Derevyanchenko was getting hurt in there with some big shots, and he still kept coming. I mean, the guy is a true warrior, sure. But yeah, I thought it was a very good performance from Jermall.
Does your perception of Jermall Charlo increase now? Do you see him as a better boxer, or do you think he's still the same boxer as before? Yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, but it was basically what I said. Jermall at mid-range is a very dangerous guy, and that's where he was doing his best work. All right, the jab was quite nice at long range, but in the pocket, I think he was probably losing the battle with Derevyanchenko in the pocket. So yeah, obviously, there's certain things he needs to work on, but a mid-range, very dangerous guy. And look, I mean, after that fight, there's not a mark on the kid, you know, and he was sitting there talking, not even heavily breathing. He's obviously a fit kid because that fight was at a decent pace. Derevyanchenko brought a very high pace to the fight, and he coped with it quite well. And look at the end of it, he's sitting there talking to the camera, not a mark on him. I mean, very impressed, Jermall. Very impressed by Jermall Charlo. But that doesn't mean I think he beats Canelo.
Well, what about the other champions? By the way, Jermall Charlo said that it was supposed to be his hardest fight, and he passed the test. Do you agree with that comment?
I mean, saying Britt in the chat saying he wasn't that impressed with Jermall, but what did he want from Jermall? I thought he did a better job than Golovkin, that's for sure, and probably Jacobs. I don't know. I mean, it's what you like. Derevyanchenko was always going to give Charlo problems. I thought Charlo dealt with it quite well. I mean, there was times when the pace was getting to Charlo and he was getting flustered in there. He doesn't like pressure, Charlo. But I thought when you break down his performance, I thought he coped with it quite well. And his counter punching was second to none last night. I thought his counter punching was very impressive. You know, some of the shots and the angles that he was landing, and he's a very tough kid as well. I mean, Derevyanchenko was hitting him with big shots, and this kid wasn't moving. So, yeah, Charlo's going to be a problem for a lot of fighters.
Wow. All right. So it seems like people are, before they used to say that Charlo was a hype job. Now people are like, they're giving him credit.
look, you're only as good as your last performance in boxing. This is the problem, you know. And this is it. You're only as good as your last performance. And his last performance, he was terrible. So, you know, we can only go by what we saw last time. But I just had a feeling. I said in the prediction show, I just had a feeling that Jermall was going to turn it on. He was going to do the business, and I think he did. I think it was a good performance from him. I really did. I enjoyed the. I won't lie.
People, the phone lines are open. StreamYard link is open. Call us and tell us what you thought about the fights. Let's see. Also,
Derevyanchenko, just like I said, always in the fight, but just never did enough to win it for me. I mean, even you texted me earlier and you said Charlo won clearly, didn't you?
Yeah. Yesterday, yeah. I told you that it's not, in my opinion, there wasn't any controversy, which I thought was going to be the case. So, you know, it was a clear victory from Charlo. I didn't see anything. Maybe I missed something, but so far I didn't see anything.
Derevyanchenko looked like he'd been hit by a fucking truck, so he definitely. Look, I said too many wars for Derevyanchenko. I thought this would be just a bit step too far. Charlo's just too young, too strong, too fresh, and I just what happened is what I said would happen on that one. I mean, I got that one right. All right, I picked in the other one. I picked Jermall by points, and that didn't. Obviously, he got the win, but he obviously got the stoppage. So I got that one wrong, I suppose. But that was a bizarre stoppage if I've ever seen one.
All right,
just bizarre the way. I mean, he sort of like did the Trevor Burbick from a body shot instead of a headshot.
But the guy was. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. VDA.
When Banana fell, I was a little bit, for a second there, I was disturbed and concerned because it's unusual to see a guy. You know, we're all used to violent knockouts. It's become the norm. But when you see a guy still conscious and convulsing, I mean, he looked like he'd had a bad batch of cocaine or something. And I was concerned. But then within a few seconds, I realized, okay, he got hit in the plexus. That's why he's probably panicking. His body is in shock because he can't get a breath.
That's what happens when you can't. Yeah, when you can't breathe, you actually start to panic, don't you?
Mm-hmm. So I think that's what happened with the guy. So he started convulsing, but he was okay. You know, but it was just, hey, listen, Charlo, man. Sometimes it's not the biggest punch that takes you out. It's just the most precise shot, and that's exactly what it did. So you got to give Charlo credit. I didn't like that he was getting outworked, but I did see him laying traps in there, especially with that left hook. He knew he was going to catch him again after the second knockdown. So he was just to me, it was a matter of time. But I didn't like the fact that he was getting outworked. But at the end of the day, he got the knockout, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, but I said Charlo will always get outworked by Rosario. I said that. I said that. That's why Jermell. If there's going to be an upset, I fancied him to be the one on the bad end of it, sort of thing, because he just goes through too many lulls where you can nick rounds. I think where Jermall. I mean, every time Derevyanchenko looked like he was going to win the round, just Jermall just come back with something to nick the round. I'm going to get stick from some ringside Charlie in the chat about, you know, I don't know what Stu's saying. He thought I thought Charlo was average. Triple G KOs. Typical Triple G fans. I just can't give anyone any credit, and they always got to make it about Golovkin, don't they? Look, all I know is, right, I said that Golovkin would probably beat Charlo. Stars make fights. I mean, after that performance, it's a bit closer than I thought it would be, but look, he did a far better job on Derevyanchenko than Golovkin did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, go ahead. Welcome to the show.
How you doing? Well, I was on here yesterday and I completely got it wrong, so hold my hands up to that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Derevyanchenko did in the later rounds what I thought he would do earlier. So, you know, it would have been a tougher fight, but I had Charlo winning probably first 5 of the 6 rounds. He won 5 out of the first 6, which made it very hard for him. But Derevyanchenko was effective when he went to the body, and he didn't do it too early in the early rounds. So, but Charlo boxed beautifully in the early rounds. He used his jab. He was throwing combination punches, landing the uppercut at will. You know, his timing was excellent. His lateral movement was brilliant, absolutely brilliant in the early part of the fight. He just nullified a lot of what Derevyanchenko was doing. It was, you know, he impressed me. I'm not very easily impressed, but he impressed me. He impressed me a lot yesterday.
Me too. And look, I mean, the fact that after the bell rang, after 12th round, I mean, that was fought at a decent pace, a high pace, and he looked like he'd just been for a fucking little jog somewhere. Not a mark on the guy. He looked like he could go again. That's got to be a concern for his opponents, because if he's bringing that sort of fitness to the table, then obviously he's a very dangerous kid, because his chin looks like it's going nowhere anytime soon as well. So this guy's going to be a hard guy to beat. He really is going to be a hard guy to beat, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting because
I just think with Canelo's just a level above.
It's interesting because prior to the fight, people were saying, sorry, just real quick. People prior to the fight, people were picking Derevyanchenko, were doing so because they didn't expect Charlo to gain his respect. They kept saying, well, if Golovkin couldn't take him out of there, Charlo's not going to. But they mistake, and I tried to explain this, but I don't think I get the point across. There's different types of power and there's different types of styles. Yes, Golovkin in his prime got more stoppages than Charlo because he's a better pressure fighter. He's better at closing the distance and the gaps and cutting the ring off. But Charlo is a boxer. Jermall Charlo is a boxer puncher. And you saw those first 3 rounds. As soon as Derevyanchenko tasted the power, you could see his body language. He was like, God damn, this guy hits hard. And then once he started making adjustments, Derevyanchenko did, and Charlo slowed down a little bit. That's when Derevyanchenko started to close the gap. But Charlo can punch, man. But people think, just because he's not laying people out like Deontay Wilder or Sergiy Kovalev, they think he's not a puncher.
Yeah, he can punch. Well, Charlo's power is more explosive sort of power than Golovkin's. Golovkin's is technically better, but it's slower and more robotic. So there's probably more pop behind a Golovkin shot than a Charlo's, but Charlo's is just a lot more quicker and explosive, and they're the ones that stun you because you don't see them coming, sort of thing.
Yeah. Also, what he did early was he didn't let Derevyanchenko find a rhythm. He could absolutely control it with a jab. That's probably the best I've seen Charlo box. That's probably his best performance I've seen him. And they say you're only as good as your last fight. You're only as good as your last opponent. And he fought a very good opponent last night. And he boxed brilliantly. And you can't ask for any more than that, right? If he would have beat a bum last night and he would have done that there, he wouldn't have got the credit. But the fact is, he beat someone who's gone. He brought Danny Jacobs to a very tough fight, and he brought Golovkin to a very tough fight. So he was in there with, I wouldn't say a champion, but he was in there with a very good contender last night. And he.
Did you hear what Jermall said? Did you hear what Jermall said after the bell had rang? No. When he just got the decision, he said, "What they said on paper's right. He's one tough motherfucker." And Derevyanchenko is, because he took some big shots, man. He took some big shots.
Well, the
thing about Derevyanchenko, man. Oh, sorry, Butcher, go ahead.
No, because we had a phone call. Guys, call in. I think because I forgot about the. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, and the super chat too. The super chat.
Super chat. Mike P, thank you for your contribution, Mike P. Always donating to the show. Jason, he says, just saying hello, BDA, Bucho, and Stu. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mike P. Thank you. I was just gonna say about Derevyanchenko. Yeah, I mean, we give Jermall Charlo his credit because he controlled, like Brian was saying, he controlled Derevyanchenko when he had to, and when he couldn't, he took what Derevyanchenko dished out and then dished some back of his own. So we give Charlo a lot of credit, but also let's give credit to Derevyanchenko, even though he lost. I mean, this guy, I don't see who's going to be able to stop him. Golovkin couldn't do it. Jacobs couldn't do it. Charlo couldn't do it. Maybe if he starts wearing down after all his tough fights, somebody's going to stop him, but it's not going to happen with one shot. I don't think. I mean, this guy is just, and he closed the fight stronger than Charlo did. I mean, this guy got tremendous gas. Right?
He's like a middleweight Provodnikov for me. Maybe different styles for sure, but like the toughness and the grit and the amazing fights, he's like a middleweight Provodnikov.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's only had 15 pro fights. I know he's had a lot of amateur fights, but in the pro game, he's still relatively new. So maybe that wear and tear isn't as, he's had a couple of tough fights, but, maybe if he would have had another 10 fights to that there, we would have seen more wear and tear on him. So
did
maybe
he ever fight anyone legit at amateur? Sorry for interrupting.
Go ahead, Boricua. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering. I was gonna say a few things. Hopefully, make it quick. But did Derevyanchenko ever fight like anyone like legit in amateur, like notable wins or fights?
I don't really know. I know he had a good amateur career, but I wouldn't know it off by hand.
Oh,
you know.
I want to say a few things. I was predicting Derevyanchenko to win, so I gave Charlo his props. I'm not gonna be whiny or make excuses. Charlo was a better man tonight, and congrats to him. The second thing is, honestly, for me, Jermell, I don't think he had a great performance. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I thought Rosario just looked for a way to quit because a simple belly jab like that, I don't think it would have. It shouldn't have caused that exorcism. But still, congrats on Charlo for having a good performance. But I don't think he's as good as people is, because just imagine if you put Jermell in the 90s era of 154, he would have gotten slaughtered.
Yeah. See, I prefer the 160 Charlo to the 154 one, but a lot of people are the opposite.
Yeah, well, last night Jermall impressed me. So
Yeah, Jermell had the better performance for me.
Yeah. They say you're only as good as your last performance and your last opponent. So to me, I think he just jumped ahead in boxing ability. To me, he showed me he could box. Like literally,
he did
he's a good boxer. So and that's something
classy shots as well. They were classy shots he was throwing, Brian.
What?
There were classy shots he was throwing as well, Brian. Do you know what I mean? That was that was good work he was doing.
Absolutely beautiful shots. Absolutely. The uppercut, the jab, the combination punching, just the sharp 1-2s, and the movement with it too. He was just moving out of distance when he was shooting. Mid-range shots was beautiful. His hook was beautiful.
Yeah.
The straight right hand just down the pipe, and even the right hand around the guard. Everything he threw last night was beautiful. It was powerful. It was strong. He was planting his feet.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is, a lot of people think we hate on this channel. A lot of people think we hate on American fighters and PBC fighters. We don't. When they fight someone decent and put on a good performance, we are the first to come on this show and praise them. Do you know what I mean? We don't. We're not fucking. Yeah, we keep it real here. If you deserve credit, you'll get it. If you don't, you don't.
Our criticisms of Jermall Charlo and Jermell Charlo were not unfounded, right? We provided reasons why we didn't. We said, we don't think they have fought the best opposition so far, but now they proved us wrong. So they didn't prove us wrong. They just basically, they stepped it up. Now, and by the way, I want to get to another point. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
No, it was their test, and they passed. It was a tough test last night for both fighters, and they both passed it. What else can you ask for?
Exactly. Exactly. They're professional boxers. They're world champions. I mean, are we asking for too much here to try and unify or fight the best boxers in their division? No. Now, by the way,
can I say something too?
Yes, sir.
When you're done.
No, because I want to say something else. Go ahead.
So, well, just to your point, Bucho, is if we are particularly hard sometimes in our criticism of a fighter's opposition, first of all, we're doing it, especially when you got guys like Stu and recognize that they're adding flair to it to make it a little bit more provocative. I mean, this is an entertainment show after all. Second of all, if we're being harsh on that guy because of their lack of opposition, it's because we see the great potential. We saw the potential for the Charlos. We knew they were good fighters, but they were spending their time fighting guys that shouldn't have been in the ring with them, the Brandon Adams type of guys. So that's why we were very angry, because when we see a guy who we know can perform and he's sputting around there and playing hopscotch with all these guys, we want to see them take on the Derevyachenkos of the world. We want to see them take on the Rosarios of the world. And last night we got what we wanted, and we were very satisfied.
Well said, brother.
I know we're talking about the twins right now, but what's a weight class that we guys are talking about in the future? The bantamweight division, because I think if Inoue gets past his next opponent, which he probably is, Inoue versus Casimiro is going to be a war. Like, I don't know why people are underestimating the smaller divisions, but that's a place full of entertainment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, these smaller divisions are starting to get quite exciting now. They are.
Oh no, they've
Yeah.
been. People are just starting to notice now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
just
guilty
people
of
need to
that
get
too.
familiar with the boxers, and they understand
we
that
got
this.
we got Del Boy on here. We got Del Boy on there. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Del?
What's up, guys?
Oh,
How you guys
double.
doing?
We saying Del
What's
Boy.
up, Delboy?
Yeah,
What's up?
yeah, man. I'm good, man. I'm good. On last night, I'm not going to talk too much about Jermell because the fight kind of went exactly how I expected. But
Yeah, you did say
Jermell
that.
Charlo, Jermell Charlo, man. I've really got to give the kid credit. Going into this fight, I picked Charlo to win, but by like a controversial decision. This wasn't controversial, man.
No, it wasn't.
It's the
No.
best I've seen from Charlo in a long, long time. This is what I've been
Yeah.
waiting for. Do you know what I mean? Since
Yeah.
he's gone to middleweight, he's really not delivered, basically, since the Julian Williams fight. All I wanted as a fan was a good competitive fight against a top 10 guy. That's what we got.
Same here.
It was violent. It was brutal. That's what I like. I don't want to see some guy pussyfooting around like Demetrius Andrade, slapping a jab out. I want to see a bit of brutality. Jermall Charlo provided that. He looked good doing it. And that's all I wanted, man. The only thing I'll say, with the PBC, they have been guilty in the past of not like capitalizing on momentum. Hopefully now Charlo can use this as a springboard and really kickstart his career because the kid can scrap. He really can. He needs to fight another top 10 guy next, and build on it, really. That's all I want to see now. That's all I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Same
want to
here,
see
mate. I mean,
from the PBC. I want to see I know it's off topic, but Caleb Plant versus Benavidez soon, like in December or something.
Yeah, that'd be
What's up,
fantastic. Absolutely. And these years, I'm telling you, man, we're getting the fights now. We're getting some fights. Some people were complaining. Now you shouldn't be
I
complaining.
mean,
God.
I tell you how classy the work was in that Derevyanchenko Charlo fight. Even the referee after every round was saying, "Well done, great work." I mean, because even the ref was enjoying what he was seeing in there, and that's what you want. I mean, you can still be exciting and be classy with it, with show boxing skills and still be exciting. This myth where you've got to be a brawler to be exciting is rubbish. And I mean, all these defensive fighters that feel like because they're good boxers, they don't want to let their hands go. They just want to pop shot their way to points wins and stink the joint out. I mean, I just don't get that from some of these fights. What Charlo did last night is it's what every fighter should be doing. Do you know what I mean? He showed everything last night.
A round of applause.
No, look, that's what he should be doing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to start. Look, we're in an era now where we're giving people trophies for competing. Look, let's calm down a little bit. It was a great performance. It's time to move on now. Do you know what I mean? Time to move on. And look, him and Jacobs would be. I said I fancied Jacobs to win before this fight, but after seeing that, him and Jacobs it's going to be a lot closer than I thought as well. That is the fight I want to see next. I'm not sure if I want to see Golovkin in there because I think Golovkin's got his heart set on Canelo, and that'll be it for him. So. Maybe Jacobs, Charlo.
I will say one thing about Golovkin, man, because now people, boxing fans, we have fickle memories and we only remember what the last thing that the last guy did. So more people I'm thinking would predict or would pick Charlo over Golovkin. But let me tell you, just like Derevyanchenko, Golovkin has an iron chin. Of course, he doesn't have the speed or the volume of Derevyanchenko, but he still has that shotgun jab of his. He still has power. Something Charlo hasn't quite fought yet at 160. So I would still like to see that fight, and I would not be so confident in picking Charlo in that one. Would I give him the advantage by virtue of the fact that he's the younger fighter? Absolutely. But let me tell you, Golovkin, man, would still be in the 50-55 for me. But like Stu said,
Golovkin is
still looking for Canelo.
I would like. How do you guys think? Well, I got two questions. How do you think Jermall would have done like 4 years ago in the middleweight division when we had Canelo, Jacobs, arguably a fresher Derevyanchenko, that kind of 160 weight class.
Well,
and then the second one is, do you think? Oh,
yeah. Well, go ahead. That's the second one.
and the second one would be, do you think Jermell and Jermall are going to keep on hopping weight classes? Like once Jermell is done with 54 and going to 6, do you think Jermall is going to go to 68? You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Who wants to answer the first question?
You got to get your own house in order before you start moving on, sort of thing. I mean, look,
It's happening.
he's not really achieved nothing. They've not really achieved much in their divisions. Let them defend their titles. Let them fight some good guys, and then move it. Why do they have to move up right now? There's some good fights at middleweight for them. Nah, man, I want to see them where they are. I think Charlo definitely doesn't struggle at the weight, especially Jermall. I mean, like I said, he looked like he could go another 12 after that fight, and that was at a serious pace. So that guy's got a tank. So yeah, I mean, what if you only move up if you have to? Do you know what I mean? Is that, or there's a big fight there where you make a lot of money, you got no choice. But there's the only reason you move up. If you're still fresh at the weight, and why would you like give away your attributes? You know what I mean? And let's be real, the 168 division is not exactly thriving at the moment itself.
I just feel like they probably wouldn't want to fight each other and try to get how do I say it? Avoid having people think they would compete against each other.
You know what, man? If I were a billionaire, like one of those rich Arab billionaires from Saudi Arabia, and you know, they're so jaded from fucking grade A prostitutes that now that they actually gotta go like for animals and stuff like that. If I had that type of FU money, what I would do is I would offer both Charlos the world if they would fight each other, just for kicks and giggles. That's what I would do.
On last night's performance, I got Jermall.
Yeah.
All right.
But okay, we're getting into fantasy matchups and all this. No, let's stick to the point, guys. Here. By the way, we have Mark. Mark, go ahead.
Well, hello. Oi, how's it going?
Hey, how come I can't see Mark? Oh, he's on StreamYard.
He's on StreamYard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yo, what a great night of fights. I won't really talk about the Jermell thing. It is what it is to me. As for Jermall, he performed extremely well, didn't he? Like, that's a career best performance. He performed beautifully on the jab. I'll be honest, his jab was more powerful than a lot of the Derevyanchenko's power shots for the first 5 rounds. So it was just impressive to see. It was genuinely impressive to see. I know for a fact I'll never see him fight Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs has said F off to the middleweight division. He's up at super middleweight now.
Yeah.
So unless Jermall moves up in weight, the Danny Jacobs thing isn't really possible. I want a unification between him and one of the 3 champions, but probably not going to get them all 3 around the zone, and he's on his own network. But the other fight I'd be cool with is Eubank. I think he jabs Eubank's head off, especially after last night. But hey, why not?
Well, that appears to be the fight that's going to be taking place soon. All right. So, what do you guys think about that? A waste of time?
I like the fight, man. All right, I'm going to pick Charlo to win that. But
I ain't going to lie, yeah, that's going to look like George Groves' fight all over again.
You could do, yeah.
I think old Eubank's going to get his head fucking jabbed in. Going to walk into straight.
Eubank's going to come to the fight. The thing is, like I said, Charlo likes to let his hands go at mid-range anyway. That's where Eubank does his best work. I mean, if Eubank start punching with Charlo, he might land one. You just don't know. But look, Charlo don't look like he's going to. Charlo's chin looks solid to me. I mean,
yeah, Eubank will definitely come. He'll come to fight Eubank.
I mean, look, let's be real. I mean, Eubank doesn't stand much of a chance. I'd probably 25% chance in that.
Here, think of it like this here. It's like Billy Joe Saunders with power.
Hey, by the way, Saint Brit in the chat room says he thinks that Charlo's gloves look floppy.
We're not starting this again. No.
Well, I won't say that, but Jeison Rosario did look like Sonny Liston getting a phantom punch. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Do you think he threw the fight, then, Mark? Mark, do you think he threw the fight?
I don't know if he threw it, but I know he tried to get out of there. I've watched it back. I've literally watched it like 95 to 100 times. I'm sorry. People who saying it's a seizure, his limbs are completely in his own control. Well, why is he biting down on his mouth shield? Because he's fine. He's literally fine. If you were winded, which is what they're saying, solar plexus, which wasn't in the solar plexus, you'd spit the mouth guard out if you were gasping for it. None of that. Academy Award.
That's gotta be Mark. If that was a performance, you're right, man. It would have to be Oscar worth because he was convulsing and shit. Yeah. I was like, well, I was generally concerned, but I didn't think about the mouthpiece thing. It's true when you get actually, let me tell you something. I never get stopped with body shots because I'm just that tough. But when I have been slightly hurt with body shots, I don't speed out the mouthpiece. So it could, I don't know. What does everybody else think?
I think with me, I don't think it was a dive. I don't think he took a dive for money. I just think Jermell broke his heart and he was looking for a way out. So that's how I feel about it.
Fucking broke his heart, man. Jesus Christ, man.
I think he thought the right hand was going to come to the, and he goes, well, I'm just going to fall down now. And he didn't realize it was a freaking jab, and then he felt embarrassed. That's what I think happened. He was looking for a way out. I think he thought a 1-2 was going to come and he, was going to fall over. But it was a jab to the body.
It's just the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen because, like I said, it was like shades of Trevor Burbick, but with a body shot, like I said earlier, man.
Yeah.
He got up and fell over again, and he's sitting there. I mean, just rolling. It's a bit like the guy that Josh Taylor stopped to be that guy. I mean, I shouldn't laugh really, but he couldn't get out of the ring, could he? He had to roll underneath the ring. He couldn't get up. His rib was definitely broke, but I'm not sure about Rosario. I mean, them shots do hurt, but to drop you like that, then to it was what? Well, remember when Zab Judah got dropped by Costa Zoo? He sort of did that.
Yeah,
with a body shot. It was just bizarre, man.
Wait a minute. I know what Mark's doing. He wants to cash in on some of that controversy because now controversy sells on YouTube, and he saw what happened with the thing. So I think now he's trying to get something He's trying to jumpstart this new controversy. Is that right, Mark?
Man, all I'm saying is when you go down from a shot, you don't do it in a safety fall position that you do when you're falling off of a bike or when you're when you're doing like the save me thing with a group of Christians.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Well, didn't he drop straight back, by the way? I thought he dropped straight on his back.
He dropped straight back, but his shoulders tucked, right? This is the thing that bothered me the most. When you fall back, like you're taught in like how to take a fall in like martial arts, you fall back and you kind of like roll it, and his shoulders kind of rolled, and his head never snapped back. So he kept his head stiff, and then he relaxed it on the ground, and everyone's talking about convulsing. I think that was the best fake orgasm impression he was doing. That's being honest, because that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like.
I tell you what, though, he actually hurt Jermall quite badly in that fight, if I remember. I mean, he hit with a big shot, and Jermall was holding on for dear life. Like, he hurt him, but like I said, I mean, it's just a bizarre. I mean, I agree with the lads. I just don't think he wanted it. Didn't have the stomach for it.
Yeah, I don't know because it was 6:30 something in the morning, but it felt weird. The whole fight, not just the put down, But Rosario did what I thought he would do. He'd come forward, and he'd try to put the pressure on. It just, every time Jermall hit him, he felt, I was like, I just don't want to be in here. That's what it felt like to me.
All right. Yeah. Well, listen, people in the chat, some people are saying they think that Rosario took a dive. Other people say that it was a legit stoppage. I guess we will never know. Hey, Gonzalo, what's up, man? Give us your take.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Hey, you slipped on a banana peel. No, it was a good punch.
Legit punch? Controversy?
I can't say it's not legit. It's boxing, and he got hit in the right spot, and the guy went down. The stomach is a funny business. You just never know. When you get hit in the right spot, it's gonna hurt.
Okay.
But yeah.
Were you impressed with Jermell Charlo?
With Jermell Charlo, 54-pounder, yeah, of course.
Okay.
He did well.
And
the 60-pounder, that was a great. Honestly, it was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen, man.
Oh.
And this is to include with no crowd. I don't know if it's because of what's his name, Derevyanchenko's spirited effort that he made it like this, but it was one of the most interesting fights that I've ever seen. I thought he was coming back, and and he could possibly win, but he fell short. It was a good fight, though. It was a great fight.
Derevyanchenko showed heart last night. Jermell showed he's solid. He's got a good chin. No one really used him last night. He doesn't look in trouble. I think he tired a little bit in the later rounds to give Derevyanchenko, but Derevyanchenko just, I think if it would have went 15 rounds, it would have been a little bit more competitive because he just felt like he was getting stronger as the fight went on.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, I've already taken your best shots. You haven't put me down, so I don't. I just don't give an F. I don't want to curse, but
I don't think it would have lasted 15 rounds. His face was falling apart.
Yeah, his face was like everybody keeps calling him the raccoon because he looked like he did after the Triple G fight, man. I mean, he was just all busted up.
If does he always get busted up like that because of his facial structure, his cheekbones, maybe also
not always,
skin,
not always. After Jacobs, it wasn't the same. Coquet, it wasn't the same. But after the Golovkin and this fight, yeah.
Okay.
But he was hit with much stiffer shots. Like with the Jacobs fight, he was hit with a lot more slappy shots, and with Coquet, he doesn't really hit that hard. But Charlo's jab, man, that thing was vicious.
Stiff. Yeah, fast, powerful. It was. You could hear it, and since you don't have a crowd, it just sounds like it's fucking hard.
You know what? They should call that jab. They should call that jab the John Holmes, man, because it was stiff for as long as he went, man. And you know what? The other thing about Charlo is people keep complaining. People keep complaining about his stance because he keeps his stance too wide, his feet. I think that's what actually gives him power, man.
Costa Tszyu, we're talking about him. The same stance.
Yeah. But he's right.
A jab in itself is basically a power shot.
Yep,
man. That jab just wouldn't stop coming, man. It was like Peter North.
Yeah, his feet might have been wide, but he had good lateral movement for the majority of the fight too last night. You know, he's got good ring awareness. The only thing with catching him really was from a distance was the 1-2 when Derevyanchenko would when he would bounce in. You know, but he was catching him at the end of it. You know, he couldn't really get the power he wanted on it. It was, he was catching him at full distance. He couldn't really get the snap and the shot he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But Derevyanchenko, Charlo was being caught with a 1-2 all night around the guard. You know, just Derevyanchenko just couldn't get the power in it, because of the reach distance, So
this fight was better. This fight was better than Triple G Derevyanchenko, and it was better than Inoue Donaire almost. It was that good.
No.
Okay, Gonzalo, what's going on? Were you falling asleep? Like,
it was a great fight, man.
It was a good fight. But I don't know if it's better than those fights that you mentioned. But listen, it's a matter of opinion. It doesn't really matter. It was a great fight. But just want to say, people. Okay, now some people we expect. By the way, Boricua, your mic is making like some weird noises, so I gotta mute you, man.
I thought it was yours.
Nah, it's yours.
It's mine?
Yeah.
No, it's been yours. It's been yours, Garrison. Every time you mute, it goes away.
All right. People we knew this was gonna happen. If the Charlos win impressively, their fans are gonna go crazy, and that is exactly what is happening. Jermall Charlo.
Can I? Oh, sorry.
Has made it into the top 5 pound for pound list.
That's what I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask Mark because he's always got those pound for pound lists. And Mark, what do you think, man? Because I've heard that there was a video, just real quick. I saw the title of one video that said, "It's not if, but where Charlo ranks in the pound for pound list." I'm thinking, what? So, Mark, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know, man. It's about criteria. I'm not down. I don't believe in that pound for pound list. I believe there's a million pound for pound lists. So
right,
I can't give you an answer. He's not on mine. Neither of them are. I mean, what? He's beat 3 champions, 5 title defenses, been unified once. I mean, it's not enough yet. Other guys have achieved way more.
Yeah, I mean, to say pound for pound after beating Derevyanchenko, we need to slow down a bit here, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, Jacobs should be on there and all because he did it before him. So look, and Jacobs has got better wins than that.
It's a great
point. Are we talking about Jermall Charlo?
Yeah, Jermall and Jermell.
Oh no. Jermell's closer, not Jermall.
Okay, but you can make a case for Jermell, right? Unified champion. I can make a case
for him in the top 15.
15? No, we're talking top 10 here.
Yeah, I know, but for Jermall, I can't make any case for him in the top 15. Maybe number 25 or something.
All right.
I don't see any difference now between Errol Spence and the Charlos. As far as achievements, they're about the same. It's the truth. And if Spence is in the top 10, what has Spence done superior than what the Charlos have done, really?
Excellent.
That's
one guy's got 3 belts now.
Division.
Yo, that's a good point. Okay, hold on. If one of you guys places Jermell above Spence, I wouldn't have a fucking issue.
I have
You could argue
Jermell.
Jermell, you could argue Jermell's got a better resume right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I
some
think
people have
Sean
Spence top
Porter-
5. Go ahead.
I think Sean Porter and going to England to fight Kell Brook, I think that's better than anything.
Yeah, I would be down this one.
Well, Kell Brook was coming down 2 weight divisions, right? Let's put context into this. Coming down 2 weight divisions from the Golovkin fight, a stab wound to the leg out for being gay in Marbella, and a shattered eye socket.
Yeah, but still, I mean, look, listen, we don't know what would have happened had he not there. From what I've seen, how both guys match up, I don't know, it's hard to tell. But look, the Sean Porter fight, that's a solid win, and Jermell, I don't know, man. Banana, he looked vulnerable to me even prior to the Charlo fight. So I would have to give it to Porter, man.
The thing is with Jermell and like the Spence Jermell resume comparison, you're right. Spence has more. Like, he's got more signature wins in regards to Brook and Porter, but Jermell, in my opinion, arguably has more depth in his resume. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he's got a bit more depth there. That's
the problem with Spence's resume, isn't it? It's all hyped up. It's literally all hyped up just off of Porter. Because the Kell Brook win, let's be real, that's all he's got on his entire resume, right? But when you look at Jermell, he beat J-Rock. It's not J-Rock. He beat Rosario, beat J-Rock, who beat Horde, right? Who'd beaten Larry. Cleared that out. Beat Tony Harrison. That division's practically cleared out. Spence has beaten what? Brook and Porter? Porter who lost to Brook? Porter who just beat Danny Garcia, so he's going to fight Danny Garcia, the leftovers. Meanwhile, Keith Thurman beat both of those guys and lost to Manny Pacquiao. There's a good claim he's not even number 1 in the division.
Excellent.
Well said, man. That's, exactly. Exactly. So this is very interesting because a lot of people place
Mark makes a good point.
Yeah.
Mark makes a good point. But look,
you convinced me, man.
I just think Spence has just done a bit more for me. I mean, look, you can break it down like that if you want, but I've been more impressed with what Spence has done. Look, I've not been sure about Jermall. I haven't. I've been saying that for a while now. I prefer Jermall. But that's a good win against Rosario, but that's just a bizarre stoppage. I don't know what to think about it. Mixed emotion.
Spence's win against the Ferrari as well, that can't go unnoticed. To be honest,
good point.
Good solid win.
That's a win.
That is a lot of weight divisions. To be fair, that is a lot of weight divisions.
Pound for pound shit right there.
Yeah, it's got. Ferrari had a good chin as well. Ferrari had that fucking Jake LaMotta chin. Yeah, look, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but if I was to do a pound for pound list, I think both Charlos are a bit short on that for me. It's going to take a bit more than those wins to get on there for me. Because I don't think I've got Spence on mine either. Because I think Spence still needs a big win. Because that Porter win was a good win, but there's people around here that think Porter won that fight. I don't. I had Spence winning it, but.
I spent one or two, but I was very out of 7-5 Spence, but
what were your scorecards?
Jermall.
I had it 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rounds to 4 for Charlo.
Yeah, Jermall.
Yeah, I had the same. But I had the same.
I had it 4-2. Yeah.
I had it 7-5.
The fight was competitive until after round 7 or 8.
Look, it was one of them fights where every round was competitive, but Charlo was just doing the better work in most of them. It's one of them where Derevyanchenko never really got dominated in any of those rounds, but he was getting tagged up, but he wasn't getting dominated. But he just didn't do enough to win the rounds. Charlo was doing the classier work, and it just looked in control. Charlo he was fighting how he wanted the fight to go. There was times when Derevyanchenko put it on him and he looked a bit flustered. But I thought it was just it was an all-round solid performance from Charlo. Really, really impressed.
I agree, Stu. Yeah. The thing for me, when you looked at that fight, at the end of each round, the majority of the time, I would have rather have been Jermall Charlo. The guy in control,
Look, I said earlier, I don't want to repeat myself, but after the fight, Jermall looked like he could go another 12. He was just talking to the camera. Looked like he'd gone for a facial, not a fucking mark on the kid. And look at Derevyanchenko. He looked like he'd been hit by a fucking truck. So look,
There's no way Derevyanchenko goes 15
sometimes
rounds.
faces can tell a story in a fight as well. Not all the time, of course, but I think in this one it did as well.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going,
What's
Slurry?
up, man?
Hey, so I just joined late. Sorry to mean to interrupt. I was just chiming in on you guys were talking about the fights last night, obviously, and then we're on the Charlo Derevyanchenko.
Yep, go ahead. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I noticed that his stance wasn't as wide as most of his highlights we watched. It looked like he sharpened up on a few of his what we would have pointed out as flaws last time. His legs were a little closer together. His balance was better. That jab was snapping pretty hard. I didn't get to watch all of it. I saw a lot of the highlights, and but he established and maintained range, and like you said, he busted his face up and pot shotted him. It kind of makes us start to realize the fact that, and this isn't a takeaway from Charlo, but that Lomachenko, as tough as he is, as solid as rocks as he may be, he's not A+, and Charlo proved it.
Yeah, he's a nearly man, isn't he? Yeah, a nearly man. I agree.
Yeah, he's a contender. He's not a champ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one of those guys that just comes full. He just falls short in the big fights all the time. He'll give anyone a fight, but he just falls short, and that's where he's going to be. And I think that beating he took off Charlo, I think the only way is down from now. I mean, I just don't think he's going to bounce back. He's took three good hidings recently.
Guys, in the chat,
a couple of fights, I don't think no one will blame him.
well, no, by the way, somebody in the chat said that this is apparently true, that they want Derevyanchenko to move down in weight. But I'm thinking at 34, 35, I think he's 35. Like, moving down? For what? Like, seriously?
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think he might as well retire, to be honest.
That'd be smart. I mean, he's had 3 tries against the upper echelon. He's put on some decent showings of himself, but not enough to win.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping weight at 35 doesn't always mean that's going to make everything for you.
Yeah.
A bit like Groves, isn't it? George Groves, he always just fell a little bit short with his title shots. He won it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Can Derevyanchenko come back and win one? I just don't think he can. I just think Groves had a bit of youth on his side, where Derevyanchenko, for me, in the latter rounds of that fight with Jermall, he was looking a bit shot to pieces for me. He was getting beat up.
DJN in the chat says, don't understand why he cannot make 154. Well, I guess he can.
For middleweight.
Do you know, 154? That's a much better division for him. He does much better in that division. He's just giving away too much size, isn't he? Like, even if he's a thick guy, that's probably why he's having to carry the weight at middleweight. But he just doesn't have the attributes. He's giving up height. He's giving up reach. And look, every time he tried to get into Charlo, he was getting hit with a world-class jab or a fucking monster right down the pipe. It was just every time he tried to get inside to get his work off, he was just getting tagged up. And that's the problem, just giving away too much size.
By the way, on the inside, I know Derevyanchenko, he did out-hustle Charlo, but for me, Charlo did a lot better on the inside than I was expecting. He was shortening his shots up really well, working the body. The uppercut up close as well was landing constantly. Charlo impressed me on the inside, to be honest.
He looked strong. Yeah. He looked
he's strong.
He didn't look weak at all.
He's strong because Derevyanchenko came to get him like around the 8th round. He was seeking to take this guy out, and I think he hurt him with the body shot.
Oh yeah,
and he went after him.
Yeah,
just couldn't finish him. If this was somebody else, maybe like an old Triple G, if they were fighting again, I don't know. Derevyanchenko was trying to become champion once again. Like you guys say, he just fell short, man. Because Charlo's tough. That's one thing. He's young. He's big. He's strong.
Some people are talking about Derevyanchenko fighting the WBO champion Demetrius Andrade. Like, can Derevyanchenko win a belt at some point? Or that's it.
Well, there was a champion out there. There was a champion he could beat. I would have Andrade.
Andrade's going to stink the joint out, man.
Yeah,
I'll go with that. I'll go. With
that. But if there was,
I'm picking Jermall to stop Andrade if that happens.
Whoa.
I'm just not too big on Andrade, man. He's there for the taking. I mean, very vulnerable himself.
I agree. Andrade's one of the most overrated fighters in the sport, period. The guy can't throw a left hook. People call this guy a technician. The he slaps his footwork is terrible. Andrade's going to get fucking knocked out as soon as he steps up to fight an elite guy middleweight. Going to get knocked out.
Look what Cool Kai. Look what Cool Kai was doing to that guy, man. I mean, if Charlo starts getting in his range, mate, and starts letting them bombs off, Andrade's going to be in all sorts of bother.
Well, and if I may, I think the mentally tougher fighter, we questioned some of Charlo's toughness the other night, and I'm not saying that we're not going to continue to question it, but between those two, Andrade's last fight, his dad was saying, don't worry, we're not worried about the knockout, Mm-hmm. They don't have it in them sides to really go prove their point, to go out there and solidify a statement saying, I'm the guy you want to fight next, I'm going to destroy this guy because he's a C-rate fighter, and I'm better than him. They were fine with going the distance with a C-rate fighter. They don't have that inner monster to go in there and try and dig in and put on a performance. So if he goes in there and it's a tough fight with Charlo, my money's on Charlo.
I do know what, Jay. I completely agree. I can't stand it, when people say, oh, let's get the rounds, let's go the distance. Fuck off. Fly out, man. You was fighting a D-level fighter. Just knock this guy clean out. Get it over with, man. I'm tired of that. Oh, let's go some rounds. Don't go for the knockout. I'm not interested in that, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, me too. I've got no interest in fighters.
You don't appreciate the
fighters
skills
who carry fights.
Yeah, it's not.
At the end of the day, all it takes is one shot.
Well, guys, I'm sorry. It's called hit and not get hit.
You don't have the power.
It's called hit and not get hit. Why would you want to risk if you have the fight in the bag, right? Hit and not get hit. That's what it's all about. So
James Toney was good at hitting and not getting hit and still knocking people out. I mean, there's a level where you're still going to put it out there somewhat. And if I may also, Pernod Whitaker was one that many people didn't like to his style. But when it came time to the Baez's, and not Paez, the featherweight, but that Benny Baez and guys like that were C-rate fighters, he knocked them out. And we're talking Pernod Whitaker, who couldn't pop a balloon, but he still finished off guys that didn't belong in the ring with him. And so if he can do that, why is Andrade, who's trying to make a name for himself, carrying people?
You don't have the power either. He has the
you
power
have the
early,
technique to get
not
power.
late.
He might have the
He's got
power.
the power early, where he's fast and explosive, and he can hurt you. Kind of like Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant hits a little bit harder, but like later as the rounds go by, they don't have that power to knock you out because they're speed. Still got they're slapping more.
Yeah. People in the chat saying Andrade's a bore fest. My God. Show a little respect.
I'm just not high on that guy one bit.
All right. So we have Charlo, the WBC champion at 160, obviously. Triple G is the IBF champion. Andrade is the WBO champion. And the WBA champion is Ryota Murata from Japan. It seems like Charlo has more than a 50% chance of actually becoming the king of the division. Am I right or wrong? What are his chances?
He's in his prime.
That's going to depend on promotion. It's going to be...
No, you're breaking up.
He's got to be more. He's going to gain confidence based off this win because he realizes he's a strong guy. He's got a chin.
Mm-hmm.
He can fight. And so I favor him to beat Murata. I probably favor him to beat Triple G and beat everybody. Except Canelo, maybe, because he's also young. He's got more experience, but that would be a good fight also. He did a lot for himself with this fight.
Yeah. I still don't think that performance. That's not enough to beat.
If he could only throw a little bit more punches, he'd be a better fighter.
The thing is with Canelo, there's times when Charlo wasn't getting punished when he should have. When he was making mistakes, Derevyanchenko wasn't punishing him. Canelo will. I mean, just something with Derevyanchenko, he hits hard enough to get your respect. He does. Not enough to sort of like stop these guys in their track, shall we say? Charlo was eating them up like Pac-Man all night.
Some people were saying that fight, that Canelo-Charlo fight, would look like Jacobs versus Canelo. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I think Charlo do a little bit better than Jacobs, but I still see Canelo winning that.
I think it would look more like Triple G Canelo, because he hits hard. He hits hard, and it would be like a counter punching. One guy hits you, and the other guy hits back like that.
Yeah. One thing about Canelo is defense is underrated. So he's a solid defensive fighter. Hank Derevyanchenko, he likes his defense is his chin.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not the best defensive fighter I've ever seen. That's the one thing.
No,
but
everyone keeps saying about how classy Charlo's jab was, and it was classy, but it's a stationary target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no head movement. There was nothing. No body movement.
That's
just walking forward.
That's where I was going with that.
In his face.
I don't think Canelo's not going to slip that jab. It's the same jab over and over.
Yeah, of course,
but also Charlo's punch I put last night in there near rounds was probably more than what I've seen him in a long time. Like throwing punches early. Usually he likes to have a quick look at his opponents for 2 or 3 rounds, and then he starts throwing on punches. Last night, from the very first bell, he was. Throwing punches.
The thing about Charlo, his confidence after that fight. I mean, I think that makes him even more dangerous because just look how confident he was after. Obviously, when the bell had rang and he knew he'd won the fight. I mean, just life looked good for Charlo, and when life's good and you're feeling confident, I mean, the world's your oyster. So this guy he's good wins. They improve you as a fighter, and Charlo's going to move on from this.
Mm-hmm.
So
all about momentum.
Hold on,
the
one
thing
at a
also
time.
he has the talent to back it up.
That's a question. Del Boy, go ahead.
Completely agree on all that. By the way,
I was just saying, like what Stu said, it's all about momentum. And with Charlo, like I was saying earlier, it's now down to the PBC to get this guy the fights he needs. You've got to build on this. He's 30 years old.
You can't be waiting another 10 months. You can't be waiting another 10 months to put him in there. At this age, he hasn't got 10 months. Get him in there while he's at his best. Keep him in shape. While he's training for fights, he's not out drinking fucking Hennessy and everything else. You know what I mean? So
he's in shape.
You just got to keep him active now. I mean, don't let him go stale. And that's what happened with Kell Brook when he was at his peak in form. Eddie let him go stale.
All right. So he's 30 years old. So next year, should he fight Eubank Jr.? I mean, if he's trying to build some sort of legacy in the sport, it's a Eubank
but there's
Jr.
nothing wrong with that fight.
But there's nothing wrong with that fight?
There's nothing wrong. Look, he can't fight the best every fight. It's just not going to happen through promotional reasons and other reasons. There's going to be times when he's going to have to fight guys that, probably people don't want to see. But I'm quite happy to see Eubank. And then name someone else that you can really pick,
okay,
on that level.
Okay.
You'd rather see in there. Well, Eubank's going to come and fight at least.
Can I make a point here? Can I make a? You're saying he can't fight the best all the time. Now, Derevyanchenko, we respect the guy. We know he's a tough boxer, but the reality is he's not a champion. Yeah. This guy's not a champion. He failed two times before that in 2 attempts to become a champion. He failed. Now he fails again. I mean, sure, it's a good win for Charlo, but we're making this wasn't a unification fight, guys. So now he wants to fight.
What I'm saying is that's why I'm quite happy to see him fight Eubank next. I'm in no rush to. I told you if you put him in there with Canelo now, he gets his ass whooped.
Yeah, but
so look, I'm not trying to overhype Charlo. I think Eubank is another good fight for him. They're not going to make the big fights until the crowds are back. So
okay, so
keep
fight
him
Eubank Jr.
Eubank's willing to take the fight.
I thought it was a big fight. That's why they're making it. So why are they making this fight then? It's a tune-up fight.
Yeah.
Is a tune-up fight? But yeah, you could call it that if you want. I mean, look, but Eubank's going to come to fight. I just don't see how he wins.
Yeah, but if I was Charlo this morning, I'd go into Al Haymon's office and pressure him for a fight really quick, because I guarantee you that guy feels good this morning. That guy, that guy feels on top of the world. Probably his best performance. And if
life's good, mate. Life's good for Jermall right now, so you got to keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
So fight Eubank Jr. to keep that momentum. I'm sorry, but there's other champions here. I mean, we have Andrade. We even have Jacobs. I know he was 68.
I'm good. Do you honestly think, right, Eddie Hearn and Al Haymon are going to sit down and make that fight happen?
Okay, so Charlo's going to waste his career. Okay, so Charlo's going to get older. By the way, he's way behind. He's the same age as Canelo, and he's way behind in the achievements. Right, so this guy needs to step. If he was smart, he would try to fight elite fighter after elite fighter after elite fighter. He can't just waste more time. He's running out of time.
Haymon going to risk him like that. And the other thing with Haymon is, other than the welterweight division where he has all of them under lock, every other division, with the exception of the heavyweight, well, even in the heavyweight division, Wilder blew through every last journeyman and everybody else, or not journeyman, but every last other PBC and free agent that there was, to where they had to fight Tyson Fury. Otherwise, they wouldn't have fought Tyson Fury. So now we're at the stage where how much control does Haymon have to be able to let Charlo fight all these other champion after champion after champion without having to let anything go?
Oh, you're breaking up, Jay. Jay, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
If he did like to share, we would have already had Spence and Crawford. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Well, I was basically done. Done.
We get the point. We get good points. Good points. Go ahead, somebody else.
He's got more control with the guy that got the 3 belts. All right, because he got the 3 belts, so he's got more control over the sanctioning bodies, and he could very easily put that fight together, like Del Boy said, because for the unification, because one of his fighters is fighting Textera, so whoever wins that fight will fight for all the marbles, and that'll be a PBC in-house fight.
Yeah. Okay. But if I was Jermall this morning, or if I was Jermall today, I'd feel like I could go in and beat Danny Jacobs.
Yep.
Danny Jacobs is not a 60-pounder though; he's a 68-pounder.
Right, but they had a feud.
I feel like I can go and beat Andrade. I feel like I feel like what do you call the Japanese boy?
Murata.
Ryoto Murata.
Yeah, I feel like I can go and beat Murata this morning. So why not? Why not go take those fights and try to unify?
Absolutely.
Like Stu was alluding to, though, Jermall Charlo's kind of on his own at the PBC. It's literally only Eubank Jr. now, so Al Haymon needs to really let the leash off Jermall Charlo. If another offer comes in from someone like Andrade, they can't turn it down again.
No, they
really can't. Nah, because I'm telling you, Jermall would go over there and he'd beat Andrade. They need to strike while the iron's hot now.
He knocks Andrade out for me.
All right, so you're a little bit on the hype train here.
And listen, this is the pandemic.
That's what I mean about you, Butcho. Like pushing my buttons, don't you? How am I hyping Charlo, right? All I'm saying is, my opinions on Andrade, right?
Yeah,
that performance from Charlo I saw last night, he goes through Andrade.
Oh, he beats him, I agree, but knocks him out. I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, he's very vulnerable, Andrade. He's not as tough. Look, Derevyanchenko's as tough as they come, mate. There's a lot lesser men would have folded last night. Just put it that way. He was tough as they come, Derevyanchenko.
I don't think he knocks out Andrade because Andrade would run, but he would lose. Andrade would lose because he would run all night. And Derevyanchenko, he came forward. And he was there to be hit, but he still lost because he got outpointed by the harder puncher. He got outpointed by the harder puncher. So, Charlo does have knockout power, but this was a guy that was coming forward and still couldn't knock him out. Not because he don't hit hard, because Derevyanchenko is just that tough. But Andrade would run. He would get on his bicycle.
Definitely run. But Andrade's chin is not... that's suspect to me. He got dropped by bloody...
Me too, Del.
Got dropped by Martirosyan and he got hurt by Kolkai. Watch what happens, when fucking Andrade throws that lazy-ass jab from low. He's going to get countered with that right hand and he's getting knocked clean out. That's what's going to happen.
That uppercut from Jermall will be the key on that one, mate. Look, Andrade, when he got hurt by Kolkai, it took him forever to recover in that last round. He was getting the brakes beat off him. If that's Jermall Charlo in there with Andrade, has got him in that sort of state. In fights over, Jermall's stopping him. Kolkai just didn't have enough in him to stop, but he was hurting Andrade numerous times.
So who stops Charlo in the middleweight division? From what I'm hearing, Andrade's a bomb. Murata, nobody's even mentioning the guy. So who will we have left here? Golovkin.
The only one I think could drop him is Golovkin because that guy's got natural power. Like there's no pretension that guy's jab's stronger than most people's power punch.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Brian, you mentioned that Charlo, now he gained all this confidence out of this big win. I don't know if Al Haymon feels the same way, but since he can make a lot of these fights, let's say he gets an offer from Golovkin. I know it's he was with the zone and all that shit. Is this a fight that Al Haymon would accept?
I think it's at the point now where Charlo would accept it. I don't know if Al Haymon would, but I think he goes into Al Haymon's office if Golovkin offered him a contract. You know, I think he goes to Al Haymon and he goes, I want that fight. I think he's at that point now where he can't waste time in his career. He's 30 years of age.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
He has to make his mark. So yeah. I think that's a fight he would want. And I think that's a fight he personally thinks he can win.
You guys don't think? Yeah, you guys don't think that Charlo's looking at Canelo's career and going like, "Damn, this guy's the same age as me." Obviously, he's Mexican, so he has a Mexican fan base and they're bigger fans. But it's he has a better record, all this fame. I'm pretty sure Charlo's like, "Fuck, I need to step it up."
Yeah, but I think
Charlo will never get close to Canelo's resume. He's just not got long enough. He hasn't got long enough in his career left to compete.
True. But you get the point. Those two, like he can, have a big leap in his career and fight champ after champ.
He's in the prime. He's in his prime of his career right now. I mean, if he does things right, and and Al Haymon steps up, then he could have a good 2 years, 3 years at the top. 2 good 3 years at the top, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. So he can't fight the Eubank Jr. and waste time. But go ahead, Brian.
Look, but he's got time for. Yeah, of course he can, because that's still a fight that I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look, when you look at that middleweight division, there's not a lot of names there really. So I'll take Eubank fight. I mean, even Liam Williams at Grievous said in the chat. I mean, I'm happy with that one as well. I quite like Liam Williams. I think he's a very good fight, and I think him and Charlo stylistically would go quite nicely. So yeah, I'd take that one as well.
Yeah.
For all the speculation that people have had about their character, they look poised inside the ring, and they kept it mentally together, both of them. I don't know if it has to do with the pandemic, that you can't run amok on the streets, and they were like inside their house, or if they're maturing because they're in their 30s and they're just more mature human beings. But for whatever all the criticism that they got, they're doing really good for themselves as far as keeping them mentally together.
Well done.
Yeah, I noticed that Jermall was put on first this time. I mean, they wasn't going to make the same mistake as last time, and then they had a big gap in between, didn't they? I mean, I think that's why I fell asleep. Missed the Jermall fight because it was about 2 hours later it came on.
It was fucking late. It was 1 a.m. over here.
Half 4, and it still wasn't on. So I thought, I can't do this no more.
No, man.
I thought Neri lost, man. I was upset about that. I thought he lost.
It finished here around 6:45 a.m.
Fuck, Jesus, that's insane.
So, but no. I was going to say something. The only reason that fight might not happen too. There's another reason. I think maybe Golovkin wants Canelo for the third fight.
He does.
That might be. Might be the reason that fight doesn't happen. And maybe I think if he gets the trilogy, I think then Golovkin rides into the sunset. He gets his money fight. Yeah. He gets out of it. I think he retires after that. So maybe that's
it's his last fight, mate. If he fights Canelo again, it's his last fight. Trust me on that. Yeah. He's going to get his ass whooped.
Hey, Stu.
Plus, he's getting a paycheck. So,
I'm
happy for Golovkin. Look, people think I'm hating on this guy. I've just got to keep it real. He's finished. Canelo's at his best now. Canelo's better than he was last time he fought him. Golovkin's worse. That's the problem.
Yeah. So Triple G's finished. So that means that You agree with Kenshiro in the
he's
chat?
finished,
Who said, hold on.
finished, I'm gonna say he's not finished. He's finished when it comes to beating Canelo. Let's just say that. I'll rephrase.
Oh, okay, you're rephrasing. Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah.
No,
You just wanna
listen, because Kenshiro in the chat says Triple G will smoke Charlo like a blunt.
Yeah,
You guys,
tell Kenshiro to put his house on it then.
Nah. So you guys
That's
say,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
I think it's a very good fight.
What, Triple G v
Not
Charlo?
I wouldn't. What?
Triple G Charlo, did you say, or Canelo?
Yeah, Triple G Charlo. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
very competitive. I think that's a very competitive fight, and I wouldn't like to put any money on it, but right now because I wouldn't know which way that would go. It just depends.
I mean,
before
the fight, before last night's fight, heavily favoured Golovkin. After last night's performance, still favour Golovkin, but a bit closer for me. I mean, because
Stu, what you mentioned that in the end of the fight he looked very jovial, like he could go like another 10, 12 rounds.
Yeah,
he looked together. His skin. I know he's a black man. Maybe that's one reason. But he looked like he didn't incur a lot of damage. When Derevyanchenko fought Triple G was more beaten up. And look, with Derevyanchenko, when Golovkin fought Canelo, his face was fucking beaten up also. So if Golovkin, I know we don't score facial damage, but if Golovkin faced Charlo, I think by the end of that fight, if it went 12, the worst for wear would be Triple G as far as damage. He busts up pretty easy.
It's whether Charlo though can handle Golovkin's pressure, because that's probably, I know he fought quite calm and collective last night, but Golovkin brings us different sort of pressure than Derevyanchenko. He just doesn't give you time to think. And I saw there's times last night. There's times last night where Charlo was getting flustered when there was pressure on him, and But look, it's still a good performance, and Golovkin brings different problems. So yeah, we'll see. It's definitely a closer fight than I originally thought.
Yeah, the only reason that I'm thinking is because Golovkin is old. He's really old. That's why.
Yeah, and look, Golovkin can't get out of the way of shots, and Golovkin can't get out of the way of shots, and Charlo's shots last night were world class.
Yeah,
size, accurate, clean. Do you know what I mean? And Golovkin's not going to get out of the way of them ones. He's going to be fucking hitting them with his face all night. Do you know what I mean? So
I want to just introduce Revolucion, guys. Revolucion, go ahead. If you're there, maybe he's cooking something.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up? Your thoughts on the fights?
I mean, it was a little bit impressive, me, because Charlo was just so much bigger than Derevyanchenko. It was kind of like a showcase. He did what he was supposed to do, and he looked good doing it. But, well, I mean, at the same time, look at the people around him in the division you guys are talking about. I mean, I think he beats Murata, and I think he beats what's the fucking Dudu Andrade, and I don't know if he beats Golovkin or not. That's probably like a really close one, I think.
All right, but a lot of people were saying actually a lot of people had Derevyanchenko winning that fight. No, they predicted that Derevyanchenko was going to win the fight. Some people were saying that Derevyanchenko was going to stop Charlo, right? So come on, man. You gotta give credit to Charlo, guys. Everyone in the chat.
I give him all the credit in the world.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I give him,
and basically went how I said it would.
Here's the thing. He passed the test last night. So that was the toughest fight. That's supposedly the toughest fight of his career, and he passed it.
Yeah, it was a gut check. You know what I mean? It was a good gut check. You can see his chin. He got tested a little bit, but I don't think he was. I didn't have any doubts throughout the entire.
That's the thing with Derevyanchenko. Just never does enough for me. I mean, and that was the case again. It's just even
you can't blame him for not trying.
Well, he was competitive all the way through the fight, and he was doing all right in there, weren't he? He was landing shots on Charlo. He was competing well, but it was just never enough. You always felt like Charlo was in control, doing the better work.
And look, Stu, you said it yourself, man. Like Derevyanchenko's been in a lot of wars. Too many.
Yeah. I saw it. I saw it in the Golovkin fight. I mean, look, when you get to 34, I've said it before. You know, you can be in there with and perform well, and then your next fight you turn up, and it's just not there anymore. I'm not saying that's the case with Derevyanchenko, but I saw signs of him starting to slide in the Golovkin fight, and I just thought this would probably be a hurdle too far for him, and I was right.
Right, you need to keep the same.
I thought he won the Golovkin fight by like a round. Actually, I thought he won that.
Well, maybe so. I had Golovkin winning by a round, I think, but it was close.
Go ahead, Del Boy.
Yeah, let's not forget as well, when in that Golovkin fight, he was sent to hospital. So, yeah, Stu could be right, you know. Probably wasn't at his optimum, but to me, he still looked very good in there. You know, he was still a pretty good fighter in there. So, yeah, man, Charlo deserves his credit. Just a quick one as well. You're saying about his next fight and you know, getting good opponents. I don't really mind the Eubank Jr. fight next, but after that, if there's nothing available, Charlo needs to then, you know, look outside the box, maybe go up to 168, fight Caleb Plant. Because you are right, Bucho. I mean, he's playing catch-up right now, Jermall Charlo. He can't fuck around now. He's playing catch-up. So, yeah, he might need to look outside the box, fight Benavidez, fight Plant. They're makeable fights, so why not?
There's no reason why he can't get back in the ring in another 3 months, Pullman. Look, there's not a mark on the guy. He looks fresh still. Get back in and go again.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, if I was Charlo this morning, I would go now. Or if I was Charlo today, I'd go now to Heyman's office and said, "Get me a fight as soon as possible." Right? I'm probably feeling the best of my career. Last night was the performance of my career. Let me get back in the ring because I feel confident now. And if I'm going to take these guys on, it has to be now.
Yeah,
it has to be now. This. You know, so
yeah,
when you're riding that wave of confidence, that's when you have to strike. You can't afford to pussyfoot around. You know, you got to go.
Because form's form in boxing is not a permanent thing. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
Ask Terence Crawford; he'll tell you that. Even though he's a world class fighter, he's not been at his best for he's struggling to find his best form. Fighters go through that, and you know, while he's peaking, he's got to make the best of it and go. Because right now, he beats Andrade. He takes that belt for me. You know?
Yeah.
He knocks him out,
You know,
he said.
He's got to be going after them sort of fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. When you ride that confidence, you had to, that's when you had to push. Because that confidence could go very quickly. I guarantee you, after the thing fight, what's his name? Errol Spence's last fight with the young Mexican dude. Forget his fucking name. Gomez. Michael Gomez, what do you want to call him? After that, there,
Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia.
Sorry, he forgot his name.
Mikey Garcia. Sorry, yeah.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Brian. But continue.
That was the Bornau fight, but yeah, Mikey Garcia. After that, there, I guarantee you, he felt confident. Then, right, he went and he knocked out the fucking pavement.
Yeah.
I heard when he banged off the pavement, he knocked the pavement out. But no, in the general note, like anything can freaking happen. But now he's got to strike now. He got to strike now. While his stock's high as well.
All right, we have recognized. I want to
very quickly in boxing.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. All right, Brian. We have recognized. So recognize. Give us your thoughts on both fights.
They were both good in their own way. I definitely didn't. I found it kind of weird the way Rosario got knocked out. But if you look at Rosario, he got knocked out by Gallimore.
Go ahead.
When you look at the way he got knocked out by Gallimore about 2 or 3 years ago, he kind of had the same reaction too. You know, he got caught with something. He had a delayed reaction. He goes down. I think he goes down 2 more times. The referee stops the fight, and he throws himself on the floor after the referee.
Maybe it's a way to get out of the. Somebody mentioned that, you know, it's a way to just get out of the fight. You know,
the guy's an over-exaggerator.
Yeah.
So some people know how to keep their cool when they get hurt. I think he's one of those guys that doesn't know how to, and Yeah, so I mean, look, his loss, it's not surprising to me. The body shot, I don't really. I think what happened there was he caught him in between, breathing in and out. More likely, he was breathing right. He was about to breathe out and just gets caught right at the same time, and that would explain his reaction. The only thing that I found weird was that he didn't grab his stomach or his chest or anything like that.
I think it was a bit of a panic attack. When you that's what you do when you try to breathe and you can't. You panic, and it's sort of hard. I think that's what it was as well. I mean, look, I just don't understand what I saw. I really don't. I mean, it was bizarre. I mean, it was a decent shot, but he shouldn't be doing that to anyone.
Yeah, he was looking for a way out, man.
Yeah.
Yo, I just watched the Gallimore knockout. Recognize I hadn't seen that until you just said it, dude. That's like pro wrestling selling, man. Like he's like, flipping and flopping around
like a soccer
Come
player.
on.
As an actor, man.
Hey guys, I just want to have a super chat here. I forgot to mention. Kenshiro, thank you for your contribution. He says, Stu, question for Stu. Do you think Kell Brook can beat 154 Charlo?
Look, Kell Brook. I don't want to talk about Kell Brook v Charlo right now because Kell Brook's got his own problems in front of him in Terence Crawford. Let's see how that one goes and we'll talk about it. Look, there's no point talking about a fight right now because if he goes in there against Crawford and gets his ass whooped, then why is Charlo going to want to fight that guy? So look, that's where I am right now. Let's see how it goes when he gets in there with Terence, which is November the 17th, I believe.
Yeah, Terence. I think Terence really gives him kittens.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll see on the night, but there's no point talking about Charlo right now when you've got Terence Crawford in front of you.
Yeah, and then you're talking about 154. Kell Brook at 154. Actually, he should be fighting at 154. He's moving down for this title shot, but listen, let's not even get...
It's not the weight's a problem. 154 is okay, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, there's no point me saying about that fight. If he hadn't signed to fight Terence Crawford, then yeah, I would have give you a prediction on that one, but there's no point really. He's in there with a pound for pound fighter, isn't it? He's got a massive task ahead of him. Let's just say that. So what's the point of even mentioning Jermall?
Pilksy in the chat says Charlo is like 6 feet tall and Kell Brook is like 5'8". There's a big height difference here and size difference. Good point.
Yeah.
Forget about Kell Brook.
Jermell's 6 foot, is he?
No, he's 5'11", I think. But
he's close to
he's
it.
6. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what did you guys think about Rosario's, the way he looked, his physique? What did you guys think?
He looked like
he looked little to me. Littler.
Yeah. He looked like Benavides at 168.
Yeah, he had those bitch tits in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he looked. I'll be honest. I thought he looked quite bad on the scales. To be honest.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man.
He just didn't look as strong, man. He didn't look as strong as he did against J-Rock. I mean, that has a lot to do with the fighter, Jermell, and yeah, I mean, he looked
How
terrible,
come all of
bro.
a sudden they made
I got a fight for you guys. Errol Spence. Let's just pretend that the Ferrari accident hasn't ruined him. Let's pretend he comes back and he's back to his old Errol. Goes up to 154, fights Jermell Charlo. Who you got, guys? Spence or Charlo?
I got Jermell.
You got Jermell beating Spence?
Yeah. Right now.
What about you, Buckshot?
Jermell, I guess. I haven't seen Spence at 154, so.
But you know Spence is going to be a big guy at 154.
I know, but
look at him.
Yeah, now he's fighting smaller guys, but at 154, Jermall, he could easily make 160. So, and he's talented. No, I'll take Jermall.
Hey, hang on a sec. I'm going to ask the guys in the chat. You guys in the chat, give me just one name. You don't need to make it long. Spence versus Jermell. Who you got? I want to see who people have got on this one.
Jibugi already says Jermell beats Errol Spence Jr. Overhand says Spence couldn't stop Mikey for fuck's sakes. Okay. Dead Game says Errol. Big Simpin says Charlo. Overhand says Jermell easy. Wesley Mitchell said Spence. All right. Most people say, oh no, we're getting some Spence people here, some Spence fans. Spence easy. Whoa. Go ahead.
You know why I would say Charlo? Because he took that loss to Tony Harrison and he avenged it. You know what I mean? He faced some adversity. He developed. He overcame something. And he's the naturally bigger guy off the bat. Like, he's already at the weight division.
Well done.
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, taking a loss is sometimes the best thing that can happen to a fighter. And it's also the best way for us as fans to gauge how good they are. Right? Because that shows us if they come back in the rematch and get that revenge, it shows us that they're mentally strong. And Jermell is mentally strong. Spence,
because in that same time frame, you had Carlos Ocampo, Mikey Garcia, and I mean Sean Porter was a good test, but that was a close fight.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, Errol Spence going to 154. Spence at the best of times does rely on physical advantages at welterweight. He's not going to have that same luxury at 154. Is his skill set going to be enough to really offset that against someone big?
The thing with Jermell, like I said, there's going to be times that fight when he goes for his little fucking strolls and does nothing. And Spence he can also take a dogfight to you, and he's busy. And like I said, I think he could nick rounds against Jermell. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and knock Jermell out, but he's good enough to nick rounds against Jermell. It's a close fight for me.
Guys, we got a phone call. Let's take a phone call. 610. You're on there. 610. 610. Going once. Going twice. And that's it. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, no, it's just Spence Charlo's a tough one for me because, like I said, Mel's he's not busy enough for me. That's why he loses rounds and people think that the fight's close when he's in there. Do you know what I mean? He's just not doing enough. He's better than these guys.
He did that last night too. Stu.
Of course he did. I told you that before. I told you yesterday that's how he fights. When everyone was ranting and raving about him, I'm like, I prefer Jermall. I prefer Jermall, mate. I think Jermall's a better fighter. I do.
Yeah, I always said though he like when I say that I think Jermell's better than Jermall, I always say, look, in the end, it might be Jermall that's better, but right now in terms of like what they can do in the ring, kind of give the slight edge to 154 Charlo.
Yeah, but it's close. But
close. You might be right in the end because
Errol Spence is busy, isn't he? And Errol Spence will come to fight.
Yeah,
and Errol Spence will put it on Jermell like he did Kell Brook, and he overwhelmed Kell Brook in the end. Because Spence, when he tried to box Kell Brook, he was sort of like getting tagged up and outboxed in occasions. But when he took the dogfight to Kell Brook, he's got a massive tank. He's got big art, Errol Spence. So he'll sit in the pocket and he'll trade with you all day long. He's tough as they come, and he's busy. And I just think that's what could give him the edge.
It'll be a good fight, that's for sure. It won't be easy. Yeah. It won't be easy for either guy.
Hey guys, which Charlo has the toughest test ahead of him? Like the toughest fights. So I guess it has to do with the divisions in which they are in. So who has the toughest tests? Jermall.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. So I agree.
Okay, so
because I mean, like with Jermell, who's left in that division?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's only Castano or Texera. That's the only fight he's got left, right, and I think he beats both.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Two guys that you would favor. I would favor him too to be. You see, at least with Jermall, there's two guys that I could see giving him problems, but potentially three because maybe Canelo could still go to 160. I'm not sure, but if he could comfortably, that's a problem. You got Triple G, depending if he fights him soon enough, that could still be a problem for him. And then you got Andrade, who's just a fucking boring fucking fighter. You got like four guys. Billy Joe Saunders too. Let's not forget him.
Yeah.
Billy Blow.
I think Golovkin's looking for the Triple G fight. I think Denny's out. No. I think we can take that off.
Okay,
I think we can take that off the table.
Yeah, the reason
you don't think he's fighting Triple G?
I think he's looking for that fight. I think that's the fight Golovkin wants. then he's retiring.
He wants Canelo, yeah. Then that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed Jonathan Morrison, the Triple G fangirl, has got a new hero in Jermall.
I know.
He's in the yeah. I mean, all of a sudden, Morrison's a big Charlo fan.
Just like you, Stu. Now Stu's saying that
a couple of weeks ago, you were saying, "Oh, Golovkin knocks him the fuck out." You fucking.
Well, now Stu's saying that Jermall is like Mike Tyson.
I wouldn't want you to be my Cody in the crime. Let's just say that.
You know, I would say that if that was Triple G hitting him to the body in certain moments of that fight, he'd have been in trouble.
Right.
Jermall would have been in trouble because I saw him flinch.
Round 8.
Quite a few times.
Round 8. He was hurt. I think he was claiming that it was a low blow, but it wasn't a low blow. And he was trying to tell the referee to like give him some time, but it wasn't a low blow.
Yeah.
Jermall has a good jab, man. He has a good jab.
You know, it's funny because Stu's making fun of Jonathan Jackson in the chat, but Stu says that Charlo is the new Mike Tyson here. He's gonna knock out Andrade.
It's one of them where you know where you're fucking your hero's on his last legs, and you need to find a new one, innit? You need to find a new one, and he's looking around and Jermall pops up from nowhere, and he didn't think of Jermall last week. Didn't want to know nothing about the guy. And like I said, he said when I said about Golovkin, yeah, you said Golovkin knocks both Charlos out, so I was right.
There's nothing wrong in wanting to be on the winning side. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but come on, man. Corny as that. Now all of a sudden he wants to defend Charlo.
Yeah. You know,
well,
but
come on.
You're only as good as your last performance, and that last performance held up a lot of wit to a lot of people.
Man, I should have written the predictions down.
See how he's selling out though. Golovkin, now Golovkin's on his last legs. He's gone to a new hit. It's like one of these bitches, isn't it? When your money starts to run out, she goes and finds a new guy. Yeah. Johnny's like the Sammy the Bull Gravano, the Gambino family, isn't he?
I never had money.
I wrote a few predictions here. Dead Game said Jermall and Jermall by stoppage. Okay, Gonzalo, I forgot. He changed his prediction after. Kevin said... Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I picked Derevyanchenko by split decision, but I was going against my logic was, Charlo was going to win. But I said, you know what? Derevyanchenko, he has heart. He's going to come in there willing to die, and he just might give us that performance that he might possibly win a split decision. But no. It was cool though because the fight delivered.
I got wrong. Just say you were wrong. Now you are a believer.
I got both mine right.
You didn't make any predictions.
People are saying, look, people are trying to say I'm a hypocrite because I was a GGG fanboy, right? I've never been a Triple G fanboy. I'm sitting here crying on the chat like some of you lot were. Stu said something bad about Golovkin, like getting your fucking knickers in a twist over something I said. I've always rated the guy and I've always liked him, but I've never been a fanboy like you guys. I mean, look how crazy mad you got with me when I did that video about Golovkin and his poor resume. You guys were losing your minds, man. Come on.
Stu, is this what you're saying? Are you saying that you were a Golovkin supporter and you praised him when... Hold on.
I'm still a supporter. Well, I can't criticize the guy now.
No. I'm saying that you have moved on to greener pastures, right? And you're saying that
it's not just that. I can't defend the guy no more.
He started going for the younger guy once he started noticing.
Yeah, an updated version, isn't it? An updated version. But
all right.
Look, I like Golovkin still. I don't know why these guys think I don't. It's just I'm on here to give you an opinion about how he's fighting right now.
On the De La Hoya payroll, that's what's going on here.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm the Johnny Nelson of the BDA, and
I. Yo, somebody tweeted like all Johnny Nelson. Somebody tweeted like all these Johnny Nelson predictions. He always gets them fucking wrong. Like
he's terrible, bro.
Tony Bellew beats Usyk or something.
Keep his opinion to himself.
He said Andrew Reese would beat thing the second time around. AJ.
Yeah, he did.
And then he said
he was high on that too.
Wilder beats Fury in the second fight. He had all these fucked up predictions, man.
He said Alexander Usyk is technically Tony Bellew is technically better than Usyk. I mean, come on.
That was one of the funniest quotes ever. I remember watching that live. I nearly watched my TV and laughed.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, Del Boy, can I ask Del Boy a question?
Oh man,
How did you have the Alameda Nettie fight?
Do you know what, Gonzalo? That's the only fight I've not seen on that card.
Oh man, you gotta watch that fight. You gotta watch that fight and tell me later what you think. Because I thought he lost, man.
I didn't see it, but Mr. BDA sent me a message. He's saying, "Yo, I think he's getting beat up." Not beat up, but I think he's losing the fight. I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm not watching it.
Hey, what did you guys think about that punch that fucking Taylor hit that?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck is it?
Recognize PSK in the chat asked that question. Which knockout was the most fishy one? The Josh Taylor knockout or the Charlo knockout? Stoppage.
The Taylor knockout was not fishy at all because Taylor's
they kind of just he caught him on the blind side of that camera angle, and when you look at it from the reverse, kind of hits him right in the right spot, like you can see.
In the liver. He's a left-hander, and the left hand aligns with the right side of the body. Okay, so it aligns with the right side of the body. You're left as you're looking at the guy. It's the left side of the body, but with that left hand, it aligns to the liver, and he caught him because he's a power. He hits hard with his left hand. Josh Taylor caught him right at the liver.
Fighter, man. I'd like to see him if he could keep that speed and that somewhat the same power at 147. He can make some noise.
I agree, man. I can't wait for that Ramirez fight. I still think that's a harder fight than a lot of people are saying, though. I'm picking Taylor, but Ramirez is going to give me.
I agree. I think that's a good fight. I think that's a tough fight. You know,
Ramirez isn't a bad fighter. People are looking too much into post-stall. That fight doesn't really have any bearings on a Taylor fight in terms of styles.
No, but I've just seen so many openings that Taylor can exploit with that fight. I mean, Ramirez is very one-dimensional, very predictable, and he's going to, like I said, he will come to fight and he loads up on his shots. And Taylor's a fucking. You give Taylor that. I've got a feeling this fight's going to be stopped with a left hook from Taylor. I said before, I think Ramirez is going to load up with a body shot and he's going to get caught with a left hook.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm picking Taylor, but I just think Ramirez is going to. It's going to be a harder fight than some people are thinking, in my opinion. Anyway,
no, I agree with that. But Taylor's.
You guys remember Miguel Angel Gonzalez? You remember him?
I just watched his fight. Recognize and watch him fight Katsuzu.
Like
Gonzalo, 2 days ago.
Don't he remind you of Ramirez a little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But the difference was, looks at so as far as right now, Ramirez may be more accomplished than Gonzalez, but style-wise, yes, there's a direct comparison there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. That's what like not the accomplishments in terms of like being, even though he was a pretty good contender at 140 at 140, but this like the way they fight kind of similar.
Yeah, he got a draw with Chavez. He lost to De La Hoya. Costa beat him. Yeah, Miguel Angel Gonzalez. I just watched one of his fights about 3 days ago. Well, actually, watched Costa fight.
Thought the Vasquez Figueroa fight was a good one last night until the stoppage.
I didn't watch. I know, but Brandon Figueroa, he won, didn't he?
Yeah. I think it was 8 for 9 for round. It was a hook to the body. No, it was he stopped him by a hook. I forget if it was hook to the body or hook to the head, but yeah, he stopped him in 8 for 9 for round. But up to then, it was very competitive. Vasquez fought very well timed last night.
Yeah, to be fair, all I was interested in. At that time, the Charlo fights. The other fights just didn't really appeal to me, to be honest with you. I wanted to see how the Charlos were going to. And I thought, I was really unhappy with Frank Warren earlier. When we had Bradus Dorticus on Sky Sports, Frank Warren decides to put Josh Taylor on exactly the same fucking time. So He just hasn't got a clue, that guy. And instead of watching that fucking Charlie Edwards bore me to death for 30 minutes, we should have just forgot about that guy. Put Josh Taylor on a half an hour earlier so we can watch the Dorticus fight afterwards. But yet again, Frank, the Frank Hearn beef. I know it's not Eddie Hearn card, but it's still a Sky thing, isn't it? I mean, it's just pathetic now. And we're paying for it because obviously I've had to switch through the fights. And as I've switched back over to Dorticus, I've gone back over to Taylor. The tie's on the floor rolling all over the place.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me as well, you know.
I didn't even see the shot.
I was in the toilet, and I missed the first minute and a half, and then I came out, and the fight was over, and I was like, "What the fuck happened here?" So
yeah, by the time that Derevyanchenko Charlo fight was over, I had already got my boxing fix. I was good.
And me too, Gonzalo. I went to bed after that, to be honest with you. I watched Jermell in the morning.
Yeah, I did. I didn't catch Jermell live. It was just it made me wait too long.
Staying up till 7 o'clock, mate. I'm sorry. Fuck off. Nah.
Yeah, that's why we didn't have a post-fight show. I was too tired. Mr. Rie told me as well. I'm not doing shit, so I was like, fuck it. By the way,
no one would have had nothing to say. It was
nah, fuck it.
Yeah. For me, it's the daytime, but there was no power in the Philippines, and I was juggling between loading my Wi-Fi and charging one tablet, then getting load on the other one through my carport battery lighter. So yeah, I got him. I watched them, but it was kind of hard. Not hard that it was tough, but you know, it's just complicated.
Yeah.
I just want to say, people in the chat, hit that like button, please. That really helps BDA Boxing. Hit the like button if you can. A lot of people in the chat are saying
I want to say, Butcho, well, you need to get a chance, right? Read out the predictions, because there's a few people hiding tonight that got it wrong. So we're gonna call them out on it. So read them out.
Right. I only wrote I only wrote 4 predictions, man.
Is that all you did?
I never you guys never gave me your recognize you saying that. Oh yeah,
I predicted. Read it down. I got Charlo wide decision. Sorry.
Maybe Mr. Vidier wrote it down, but I don't know. You guys might be lying. I know. Recognize he was like, oh yeah, I got it right, exactly right. I was like, okay. I don't know.
I did. I mean, I wouldn't. Listen, I would tell you if I was wrong.
I know. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
I said Jermell Charlo UD unanimous decision, and
I said that as well. I said that.
Yeah.
You know, I never stopped so Jermall. So that was my predictions. I was wrong in one, and I got the other one. You know.
Yeah.
El Sim in the chat.
I think Del Boy and D got the Jermell fight spot on. I think they called it early. They said that this guy's not very durable, and they think that Jermell will stop him, and they called it right, man. I just thought that Rosario was a bit tougher than that. I mean,
I'll be the first to admit I was wrong on both of them. I because the Charlos haven't been pushed to try and take on top-notch competition, whether it's by politics or their own picking. I was thinking they might have been softening since they're hitting the age of 30. And I was wrong on both. I thought Rosario might have been too big for the younger one. Is that Jermell?
Jermell, yep.
Jermell. And then, again, we were talking about mental toughness, and we thought that Jermall was shaking in his boots. So we thought that the moment might have gotten the best of him the other night. Nobody really hard-heartedly disagreed with me. And so I was picking Derevyanchenko to possibly get inside and be too much for him, and I was wrong on both counts. So, but it's not the first time, not the last.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. Sometimes when you make picks, you get them spot on, and then sometimes you're like, "Damn, I didn't see that coming."
Yeah, man, exactly. It's easy to pick mismatches. Anyone can do that. It's these sort of fights that's it's kind of hard. I got the Jermall one wrong. I thought he was going to win, but by robbery. So yeah, I got that wrong.
Look the fight that's coming up in October, in the middle of October, Lomachenko Teofimo. I have a feeling that fight's going either two ways. I could be totally wrong. Either Lomachenko's going to beat the fucking skin off of him, or he's going to catch Lomachenko because he's too aggressive and knocks him out.
Yeah,
but it could go totally the other way. You know, like just
here. What if I got a different proposition for you? What if I think Lomachenko fights on the back foot? Because what I've seen from Teofimo Lopez is not the most comfortable coming forward.
I agree with that.
So how many lefties has Lopez fought that's really going to put him in position to fight one of the most dynamic lefties we've seen probably ever?
I think Magdaleno.
Yeah, he fought
Magdaleno.
You know,
I agree.
All right, guys, we have D Jefferson. D, what's up?
Oh, what's up, fellas? What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
All good, man. Your thoughts on the fights?
Shit, I think it was an excellent card, great fights. One disappointment for me, though, for two reasons. One, because this idiot cost me $270 on a dollar ticket. I hit every fight right on the money. Dollar ticket. This clown, Luis Nery. Luis Nery's overrated to me, bro. No, if he was who he was supposed to be, he should have took Alameda out of there.
Alameda's a good fighter, though. D. Jefferson, that was a good revelation for me, man. Fights like Gary Morales, that Alameda kid, undefeated. He's a good fighter. On Heralded, but he's gonna be good. Watch.
Right. Yeah. So the thing with it though is, again, like you talking a domestic level fighter, Luis Nery, and all the freaking hype surrounding him. He's supposed to put that kid away. I'll give all shout out and praise to Alameda. He stood his ground, for most of that fight. Not until the 11th, 12th round did he even start backing up. These guys were centered. They were circling each other in the center of the ring, throwing blows. So all shout out to Alameda because he came up, he stepped up, he proved himself. But Luis Nery, a domestic fighter, you have to stop him, right? Every other fight, I picked exact. 8th round, Charlo. 10th round, freaking Brandon Figueroa. Unanimous decision, Jermall. And if this stupid Luis would have done what he was supposed to do, then you're talking about I'm looking at $272 on a dollar ticket parlay, right? But this idiot. Outside of Luis Nery, I think it was a great card, fam. I think it was a great card. But I just want to say this about these Charlos. And all of the assumptions that I kept hearing. Derevyanchenko is just going to come inside of there, work him to the body. I've even heard people saying that he was going to stop Jermall Charlo. And I'm like, bro, what the hell are people looking at? These Charlos have chins. And Derevyanchenko's not just going to walk in there because Charlo plays the mid-range game well and he plays the distance. Derevyanchenko's game is the inside. So if he can't get in there, where is all of this stopping Charlo coming from? Right? So that's Jermall. For Jermell, I really don't know what the hell people were thinking about Jeison Rosario because the dude is defensively irresponsible. Not only that, the people he stopped were C-level fighters at best. You're not going to just walk in there with a higher level fighter and have your way, or a guy like J-Rock who has no fucking heart and hit him once and then it's going to be you having your way because that's what happened with the J-Rock fight. J-Rock was doing well and then Rosario popped him. He lost all fucking heart, and Rosario took over. And I kept telling everybody, that's not the Charlos. You're going to hit him. He's going to keep coming. Matter of fact, I said the same thing on the show before the fight. You're going to hit him. He's going to keep coming. You're going to hit him. He's going to keep coming. And that's exactly what happened with Rosario. So I'm just not really sure what people were seeing out of Rosario, this tremendous power, but against who? Against guys that
when he kicked J-Rock's ass.
J-Rock.
I mean, J-Rock.
When he beat up J-Rock.
Did you see the fight with Gerard Hurd? He had a lot of heart in that fight, and that was in Hurd's hometown.
The thing is that I said I had Jermell winning on the cards, so I didn't think that either Charlos would get stopped because I've seen it. These kids are tough kids. I keep saying it. They're tough as old boots, mate. I mean, he's going to take a real good puncher to get them out of there. And I just knew Derevyanchenko wasn't the guy, and I knew Rosario. I just thought Jermell's lack of work rate at some time could have come into play with Rosario, and that's why I said if there's going to be an upset, I fancied that one because I always was confident Jermall would do a job on Derevyanchenko. So I didn't say anything about Charlo getting stopped, either one of them.
Yeah. I'm not saying anybody specifically who said it, but it was a lot of people saying that Jeison Rosario was going to stop Jermall. And there were also people saying that Derevyanchenko was going to stop Charlo. And I was just befuddled by all of that. I was really befuddled by that shit.
Well, I had Jermell Charlo winning by UD. So, you know, I didn't say nothing about that, but I did say Derevyanchenko it. So I was wrong. I admit it.
Yeah, but you weren't the only one, Brian. I'll tell you that. You were not alone.
Yeah, I was also wrong. Hey, what's up, fellas? It's L Dog back in the building.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. Because I told your silly ass that won't gonna go down that way, man. See, the thing is this.
No. Hold on. Let me say I was picking Charlo to actually stop Derevyanchenko because I thought Derevyanchenko at 35 years old, coming off tough fights against Jacobs, Jack Colquet, Golovkin, especially the Golovkin one, where his face looked like it had been beaten with had been sliced up with a machete or something. I was expecting him to be like Sergio Martinez level shot, just where his legs couldn't take it. And I was actually disappointed that Charlo couldn't stop him.
I wasn't disappointed or surprised because of who Derevyanchenko is, and Charlo not being able to stop him. I mean, let's be honest about it. They have two different styles, and I still say the same thing. I don't believe Charlo hits harder than GGG, and Derevyanchenko took some flush, solid shots from GGG.
Right.
The two knockdowns that he received from Jacobs and GGG, which I say right here too on BDA, those were like quick flash knockdowns. He got back up, he was ready to go. He fought the whole fight, so like I didn't put too much in those flash knockdowns. It's just the thing is that I think sometimes, and not any of you guys, but again, we hear a lot of things around on the internet. I think sometimes people confuse the disdain that they have for a fighter and apply that to what's going to happen in the ring, which I don't.
Agree.
I don't care how much I like or dislike a fighter. It has nothing to do with what the fuck is going to happen in the ring. You have to look at these fighters and what they bring to the fight, period.
Yeah. Can I
Don't
put a
matter
team
how much you don't like them.
Can I put a team like this, D? With me, it was with Jermall Charlo. It was his level of opponent up to this point. I thought Derevyanchenko was the best fighter he's been in the ring with, and he passed that test.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where I was judging my prediction on. Could he pass that test? And he did. So I give the kid all the credit in the world.
Right. And Brian, I remember you saying that.
Let me say this real quick. D, just to touch on what you were saying, man. If you want to hate on someone, do what I do, man. Pick them to win by some spectacular fashion, and when they don't do it, discredit them for not doing it.
All right. All right. I think, is this precise? I see he has a Carnival logo there.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Your name says Divin Divas. All right. What's up? Welcome to the show. I think I know where you're going with this. So tell us your thoughts on both fights.
Divin Divas.
I only saw the knockout, and that's all I needed to see in the younger brothers fight.
Breathe.
And I only watched the first round. Huh?
Can't breathe.
I know.
Can't breathe.
I mean, come on, man. I heard somebody on this show say it was a real punch. I mean, yeah, it was a real punch. There was, fist made contact with dude's elbow, and then it slid down the elbow and hit him on the belt, which I think, you guys correct me if I'm wrong because I've never boxed, but I think it's high density foam and shit. So the punch hit the elbow, right? And then whatever was left of that punch when it hit the elbow, it hit the belt, and all of a sudden that affected.
How powerful was it?
Here, don't we all forget too that he was knocked out just right at the end of the round before, and it wasn't for the bell. He was knocked down. I mean, but it wasn't for the bell. He mightn't have got up.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with the punch hitting him on the elbow and then the belt?
Well, maybe he didn't fully recover. Maybe he didn't fully recover from that shot.
Well, maybe. All right, go ahead. Recognize. Precise. All right. So what about the Derevyanchenko fight? Your thoughts on that?
Didn't watch the whole fight. No, I saw the first round, and Charlo looked good. He was doing all the right things.
Yeah.
Except that changed as the fight went on.
Derevyanchenko winning that.
Now, Precise, your connection is, I don't know, you have a bad connection right now. Precise, you have a bad connection right now. Yeah, you're cutting off and everything.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, now, yeah.
Let me switch my internet.
All right. Precise is fixing his...
You know what I'm finding out? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead, Precise.
No, my bad. Yeah, look, I gotta watch the whole fight, so I really can't talk about it. But Derevyanchenko, I thought he was an inside fighter. I found it really curious that he was throwing his big right hand from outside as if he was trying to box. And from what I heard from Del Boy, he did go inside at some point in the fight and actually had success there. But
Mid-round.
I just found it really weird. Yeah, I found it really weird that he was throwing his big power in the first round from outside as if he were trying to box the bigger, taller guy. But, I got to watch the whole fight again and see what actually transpired. But, there used to be a time in boxing when a guy was coming off a loss and it was a disgrace for him to get a title shot in his next fight. That used to be the standard in boxing. Somehow, I don't know if, I'm just, too old for the new school or whatever, but, it not only was that a disgrace for that fight to happen in the first place, but to put it on pay-per-view, I mean, that would have been universally laughed at. But these days, I guess, because these fighters, they don't really want to fight anybody. When they throw us, petty fans a little bit of a bone, everybody gets excited. And don't get me wrong, I thought it was a good matchup, and it turned out to be a good fight from what I hear. So it is what it is. But as far as the prestige of the fight go, Derevyanchenko took probably at this age definitely a career-altering beating from Golovkin. I mean, landed in the hospital. He was in a bad way after that fight. I saw an interview with him something like 6 days before this fight, and he still had 2 black eyes for some weird reason. The amount,
it's
yeah,
true,
watch
though.
the interview.
It's true.
Marcos Villegas, Fight Hub. He's got an interview with Derevyanchenko. He got 2 black eyes. So I don't know if he's just got permanent damage. He definitely still had a bunch of scar tissue. So, Charlo, from what I hear, did well, but he was fighting Golovkin's leftovers. Let's keep it real. And
you know what I don't like? I don't like when you have people saying that Derevyanchenko will beat Charlo. Then post-fight, we start hearing how we're going to discredit Charlo and who he fought. And another thing is, a lot of people had Derevyanchenko beating Gennady Golovkin. They felt like that fight was a robbery, right? The thing is this to me, man. Just give the guys respect. We don't need to start throwing asterisks and making excuses. This guy was beaten down and all of that. No, because if Derevyanchenko would have went in there and beat Jermall Charlo, the onslaught would have came on. And I ain't even a fucking fan of Jermall Charlo. Brian's on my channel all the time, and I've been denounced. I don't like the guy. But at the same time, I just think that people at every angle are starting to rob respect from this dude. At whatever they're finding, whatever reason, they're trying to take respect. Here's the facts, bro. Here's the facts. People say, hold on, Precise. Here's the facts. It was a lot of channels saying that Derevyanchenko will beat Charlo. Had he beaten Charlo, they would have drowned him. So I don't want to hear nothing about Derevyanchenko not being up to level. Gennady Golovkin took it all out of him. Because the same way people from the PBC, these idiots over there, hate on every other fighter, I see some of that same energy come at the PBC fighters the other way. I see the same energy come at them the other way. People they have so much disdain, they don't want to give the guys the credit they deserve. Period. That's just what I see.
I think the question is how much credit. I mean, I think we all give credit to Charlo. I mean, you have to. If you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. But the question is how much. How much?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys could disagree with me, but I'm pretty sure I'm entitled to my own opinion. And if you don't want to listen to my opinion, you could always turn off the show and then I'll be gone and you could get back to whatever it is that you were doing. I did not pick Derevyanchenko to win the fight. Made a video talking about how this is, this type of thing. Everything that I said in my, when I first came on the show, I said before the fight. And it really doesn't matter whether I did or didn't. And whatever somebody else somewhere else is saying, I really don't care about any of that. I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm telling you what boxing used to look like versus what it looks like right now. I'm telling you how, basically what I'm trying to say is that not everybody is held up to the same standard because, and the fact still remains, whether you like it or not, we could debate and we could argue how good Derevyanchenko was in that fight. I don't have an opinion on that yet. But the fact remains that he was coming off a very tough fight and took a beating and quite frankly, didn't even deserve to be fighting for another title coming off that devastating loss. And that used to hold on, let me finish, please. That used to always be the standard in boxing. Like it's just what it always was. And just because all of a sudden it isn't, that doesn't mean like, I was watching boxing back then and I, spent many years learning that this is what it is. So for you to tell me that like, I need to think different now because some channel somewhere said something. I mean, with all due respect, I think I'm entitled to my own opinion. Go ahead.
Well, right, you can. Precise. You're one person, and I believe I just said people. So if your shoe fits, wear it. The fact that the shoe don't fit, then you're not people. You're one person. So if you took that personally, touche. That's on you. I said people. You're only one person, so that's on you.
I didn't take anything personally.
I'm just saying, I didn't say precise.
Yeah,
I said
okay,
people,
great.
Period.
Right. Where I was talking about the fight, and you interrupted me, and you had you had what you had to say. So now I had to say what I said, and it's all good, man. You can have your own opinion. I don't care. Like if you want to give Charlo a pink ribbon for what he did last night, or you want to put a poster of him on your wall, I couldn't give two shits, man. That's all on you. I applaud you if that's what you want to do. I take a different look at the situation. Now, if you could catch me slipping where I have a double standard, where I don't live up, where I treat Charlo different than I would any other fighter, then then I'll give you props for calling me out for being a hypocrite. But like, I'm not going to tell you how to look at boxing, and I would appreciate if you didn't tell me how to look at boxing myself. It's just, it is what it is.
Well, when I tell you anything,
hold on, I'm gonna finish in just one second.
And I didn't say precise, so I didn't tell you anything. Period. Hold on. Yeah. I didn't say your name. I didn't aim it towards. Period.
All I gotta say is let's be adults and let's respect each other's opinion without getting into our fucking feelings. What's the big deal?
Again, I didn't say your name or anything about you.
All right.
Hey, precise. I was going to mention something to what you were speaking about, to your point about Derevyanchenko throwing the power from the outside. Since you watched the first round only, maybe later when you watch the fight, Charlo was telling Derek James that he was trying to wait for Derevyanchenko to step inside to throw that big uppercut, because Derek James was telling Derevyanchenko, throw the uppercut, because you heard him. You rocked him early, I think around like the second or the fourth, you rocked him. But Charlo was saying to Derek James, I'm waiting for him to get more closer to me so I can throw that big uppercut. Maybe that's why that Derevyanchenko was throwing the power from the outside. I don't know.
Hey, let me say this real quick. On the topic of how much did Triple G take out of Derevyanchenko, I mean, look at the dude's face even before the Charlo fight. The guy has so much scar tissue around his eyes. Like his forehead goes like 3 inches over his eyes, man. It's like this dude, like seriously, his eyes are so sunken into his head now because of all that scar tissue. Like, can this guy even see? Yeah, can this guy even see? Like,
oh shit!
With his eyes
dog, I gotta cut you off. Hold on, because we have a phone call and the phone line's fucked up. But I think this guy's still on the line. 760. You're on there. 760. Hello. All right. I don't know. He hung up. Sorry. Somebody go ahead.
El Dog was rambling. He had like so much scar tissue around his eyes.
Yeah. I just know this, guys, and everybody, Brian, L Dog, BDA, even
Bucho.
Pretty much everybody knows me when it comes to this. if I got something to say to anybody, I'm gonna fucking call your name. I ain't gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna make no subliminal messages. I'm going to call your name. And precise, to be perfectly honest, fam, I just found out by what you said today that you even have a channel, or else I would have been over there because I pretty much support everybody that's around. But I just found out you had a channel, so I couldn't have been talking about you because I really haven't heard a damn thing that you said.
All right. Well, we got that cleared out. Everything's perfect. This is a debate channel after all. But let's not make any accusations.
Another fight that I think people need to talk more about is Hrgovic's fight, man. He is the hardest puncher in boxing today.
I'm kicking you out.
Hardest puncher in boxing today.
You're killing the show, bro. You're killing the show.
Hold on. Who was he fighting?
He's the most
Fucking
powerful
Jimmy's on the show.
He fought your countryman and he whooped his ass.
You had to bring your hero into this,
fought
didn't you?
Sean Turner and he whooped him.
All right, L-Dog.
Weirdo, bro.
Okay, hold on.
Jimmy, what's up, Jimmy?
That's impressive, L-Dog. I'm laughing. I'm laughing my freaking ass off on that one. That's a great knockout.
Yeah.
L-Dog. That's a great knockout, L-Dog.
Hey, calm down, guys. Jimmy's trying to talk. You guys are rambling.
I'm just laughing, man.
Hrgovic beats Dubois. I know that.
All right, hold on, guys. I want to get Jimmy in here. Jimmy, go ahead.
What's up, man? What's going on, guys?
Oh, Jimmy, we can barely hear you, man.
All right, hold on. Let me try to change something here, bro.
I can hear him. Fine.
It's very low.
All right, hold on.
I can hear him just fine, too.
Okay, then it's me. Go ahead, Jimmy, then.
Jimmy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't even... All right, well, I was going to say, fuck. I was really surprised by one thing. Listen, you can tell when a fighter is reluctant. All right, with Triple G, right? And I think to what Precise was saying from what I guess I've only caught, so if I quote him wrong, I apologize. I only caught part of it. I got on partial, but there's no doubt about it. And again, I'm giving props to Charlo. First off, I picked him to win. I said he was going to win this unanimous decision, and he did do that. And he looked good. He looked better than his brother. That's for damn sure. But what was I going to say? All right, so now Derevyanchenko, for instance, you can tell how much beating he took in that Triple G, how much that took out of his offense. Every time, even Al Bernstein talked about it, he was like, geez, it's really odd that he would abandon what he just, and I believe the fourth or fifth round, I think it was, he came on and he started throwing his combinations, right? And he was piecing up Charlo. But in that position, and when you're stepping into the fucking death zone and you're into that combination throwing, right, you know you're going to be able to catch a shot. He was reluctant. And why would a fighter who has never up to then been reluctant to stand in that pocket? It's a reason. They just take a beating and they can't take it anymore because he abandoned what was working for him. And there'd only be one reason. He didn't want to stand in the pocket anymore. But he's willing to stand in with Triple G. And nobody on God's green earth is going to tell me Charlo hits harder than G. There's just no way.
Great point.
But anyways, I just thought it looked odd that he abandoned that. His scar tissue was brutal. He just barely got fucking pieced up and he was bleeding. Yeah, he's a mess. But another thing about Derevyanchenko, he's just, and like I tweeted out, he always does just enough to lose. He's one of those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not take much away from Charlo. I thought he did well. I thought the younger Charlo was wild as fuck and did not want to. Listen, that Banana Kid he can pitch but can't catch. But I'll tell you, anytime he touched him with a body shot or shot to the head, it was to the point where it was embarrassing the way he was diving and grabbing him. It was embarrassing. Like, boom, hit him, poof, and he dove like 2 feet in to grab his waist. A point where any other ref would have been just as quick to say, stop grabbing him. Like that, you can't do that. You're not supposed to be able to do it. He was very quick to warn fucking Dominican about the low blows, but never told Charlo once about reaching out and grabbing him. So, I think the older brother handled him, but a better showing of himself. But that was my little diatribe.
Yeah, he's very quick to warn Jermall or Derevyanchenko too. That was the same referee for both fights.
Yeah, but he was quick to. I mean, I didn't watch it, but from what you're saying, he was quick to warn him in this fight. Is that what you're saying, Brian?
Both fights.
Both fights. Nah, yeah, I thought you let him. I thought you let him get away with a lot of stuff against Triple G, like headbutts and
no,
low blows.
No, not Triple G. The two Charlo fights.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
I seen Jason Rosario hit Charlo with multiple low blows before the ref warned him. So I really don't think it was too. I was doing commentary for the fight, and I was like, damn, that was love. He had Charlo on the ropes once, and he threw 2 blows, and both hit him on the hips. This was before the referee even warned him. So I don't think he was quick to call the low blows. I think a lot of low blows slipped through there, and then he eventually called it. I don't think he just jumped on the low blows. But I agree with Jimmy that for all of that,
he was definitely throwing low blows.
Grabbing a hold of, the ref should have warned Charlo about that, though.
Jimmy, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was going to say he definitely was throwing low blows and he deserved the warning. But when you only warn one guy for an infraction, and both infractions are infractions, like you're not supposed to, in the middle of an action, just reach out and grab a fighter. I mean, you're supposed to be able to do that, like tying up when you're in the throwing punch and start turning, you grab them. You don't just suddenly, oh shit, I'm in no man's land, my feet aren't in the right position. Superman, and reach over and fucking grab him by the waist. It just showed me that Charlo, the younger one, doesn't like to get hit. He just doesn't. And you can see it when he gets fucking hit. He gets a little goofy.
The uppercut when he was lunging on. Right. I would have caught that right away. Every time Charlo would have lunged in at me, I would have threw the uppercut on him every time he was at distance. Every time I rocked him.
Derevyanchenko doesn't seem to be a very cerebral fighter. He just doesn't. He seems to be very programmed.
Yeah.
You tell him what to do. And I don't know. Yeah, no. Any success? You guys saw the fight. Whoever saw, you saw whatever he did well in the 4th and 5th round. He didn't abandon it because he suddenly got rocked and he was hurt. He just stopped doing it. He didn't want to put his body through it. You know what I mean? So I think he took the damage.
He had a great 8th round, I believe, Jimmy. If it was the 8th or 9th, I think it was the 8th. Derevyanchenko. Very spirited effort.
All right, guys.
It was a great fight for me, man.
That was a good fight.
That was a good fight. I gotta agree.
It was a good fight. I just didn't think Derevyanchenko could beat him. Again, like I said, he always does just enough, kind of like
and as far as him hitting harder than Triple G, no, he doesn't. But you know what? They are power punchers. They do hit hard. I'm starting to gain a little more respect for their power.
All right.
Yeah. He was big as fuck too, bro.
Yo, he looked like a super middleweight. And
that respect comes because of the jab, Bucho. The jab looks powerful, so you know that trail hand's going to be powerful as well.
Powerful. But like Del Boy said, very repetitive, that type of jab. Like against Canelo, it probably wouldn't work. But the Brotherhood, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I told y'all them boys was going to get their ass whooped.
Well,
you ain't told us nothing. You ain't saying nothing.
Jermall Charlo do hit harder than Triple G, bro. That's why.
How do you know? How do you gauge that?
How do you know?
How do you know? How do you know?
How come he didn't drop him?
Because he changed his whole game plan by punching him square in the fucking face. That's how. And if Derevyanchenko didn't respect his power, he wouldn't have been so reluctant to stay outside and try to jump in. He
agreed.
He wasn't trying to get inside for like half of the fucking fight, bro.
Agreed.
He wasn't even trying to get inside. He like, fuck this, I'm gonna just survive, bro. This dude hitting like a Mack truck, bro.
Yeah, and see, Brotherhood and I have been back and forth, but now I'm with him 100% on with you, Brotherhood, because
if he hits harder than Triple G, who's one of the hardest punching middleweights, why didn't he drop him?
Jimmy.
Somebody about to just like jump right in between what I was saying.
Let D. Jefferson finish. I
didn't even hear somebody else talking. I'm sorry, I didn't even hear that dude talking.
I believe you.
So here's the thing, right? I'm with Brotherhood 100%. Now, just like Precise said, we all have our opinions. So it is an opinion that GGG was responsible for Derevyanchenko not doing what he was doing. But the way I broke that fight down before it happened is that Jermall Charlo would use that mid-range in the distance, pop Derevyanchenko, and not allow him to come inside.
Wait a minute. Is this the black guys? Is this the black guys ganging up on the Mexicans or what?
Hey, BDA, I don't know if Jimmy and Gonzalo can hear me, fam, because like they don't want me to finish talking.
No, they can. No, Gonzalo
Yeah.
can. Jimmy couldn't. Jimmy has a weird connection. But go ahead, D. Finish
All
your
right,
point.
so we can have the opinion that it was GGG's beating that caused him to fight that way, but before the fight happened, I say it was the mid-range and the distance, and the fact that Jermall Charlo does have pop, and he was not going to allow him to come in there. So I'm with Brotherhood on this one.
And plus, Jermall Charlo, it looked like his jab was superior to Triple G's.
Far superior. He was popping his head back with that jab. Popping his head back with that jab.
You can't say
like 9th round or somewhere around there. I swear he hit him with like 3 jabs in a row, and Derevyanchenko started backing up.
Yeah,
that was a stiff jab. Recognized. You got it.
No, it was a stiff jab.
Triple G's got an elite jab, but that was a
hold on,
fucking
Gonzalo.
stiff
I'll give him credit, but I disagree with. He has a superior jab against Triple G. He's not fighting Triple G. He's fighting Derevyanchenko. So stick to that. You could say you have an opinion.
We don't make comparisons. That's why these type of fights need to happen, so we can compare his performance to other elite fighters. That's what y'all wanted, right?
Compare it is
Triple G can't jab to the body like that. Y'all seen that?
Yo,
that boy.
Hey, Brotherhood, how old is Triple G?
It's like
38.
How old is
Derevyanchenko?
That's why he ain't look the same.
Why is he fighting Derevyanchenko just now?
What are you talking about?
Talking about Charlo and the age difference, the age gap between him and Golovkin, because you seem to love, comparing both of them and how they performed against Derevyanchenko. So I'm putting things into context here, right? So that's why I'm asking these questions.
Why wouldn't I compare him to Triple G when Triple G still seen as an elite fighter?
Yeah, how old is he? Though? I ask a question. How old is he?
What is he? 38?
Yeah.
How old was Floyd when he fucking schooled Canelo?
How old was Hopkins and come on, Larry Holmes?
Brotherhood. Look, here's the thing. Like, so DGG is 38. So if he was 38, and that's a factor, then how much did the 38-year-old take out of Derevyanchenko? We can't have it both ways, because if he's 38 and that's a factor, then how can we just say that 38-year-old is the reason Derevyanchenko couldn't do what he did?
No, wait, hold on.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something real quick? I didn't say, if it came across that I was saying that he wasn't able to do what he did because of Triple G. No, I mean, he was sharp one. Charlo ended. Charlo is what prevented. Yes, Charlo has got fast twitch fibers. He's an excellent athlete. He's more athletic than Triple G. I'll give him that. He's got good range, but he can get wild. And again, you got to put him again. Let's see him like compare. Remember what Triple G was like between 30 and 34 years old? If a 30-year-old Triple G fought Derevyanchenko, he would have fucking iced him in 3 rounds.
I was about to say about Golovkin being 38 and busting up Derevyanchenko's face. That just tells you that Golovkin is a good fighter at 38, but maybe that also tells you that Derevyanchenko, well, it shows you his real level or his level.
I mean,
right?
we had we had the opportunity to. Everybody wants to like compare, but we had an opportunity to compare Charlo to Triple G in their prime, but Charlo, his handlers, and they didn't want anything to do with Golovkin in his prime. So that
turned down 3 contracts.
And
hold on, 3 contract offers.
And another thing, I just like Jimmy, I did not say that the beating that Golovkin put on him caused him to suck in this fight. I don't know. I couldn't have said that. So that was a misrepresentation. What I am saying is that he fought Golovkin's leftovers, and that's a fact. And this is a fact that's always, to this day, actually being brought up when people want to, when people judge this or that guy and whatever fight he's getting into. But for some reason, when it comes to Charlo, all those standards are all of a sudden abandoned, and it's okay for Charlo to give a title shot to a guy who just got the living dog shit beaten out of him.
That's the case, bro.
Dropped all the way down in the rankings. Hold on, let me finish. Then you can. I did not interrupt you. So be an adult and shut the fuck up.
mad,
He
bro.
dropped
He
in the
mad.
rankings. He dropped in the rankings. Hold on, I'm gonna be done in just a second, and then you can talk.
Jesus.
He dropped in the rankings, right? And we did not see him bounce back. This is the reason why a lot of fighters get their little bounce back fights, to see if they could recover from a tremendous beating, such as in that fight. And that's why, as fans, I think instead of being suckers paying for pay-per-views for somebody fighting somebody else's leftovers, fans used to at least demand that these guys bounce back with, go fight a bum or whatever. Just have a nice little training camp, get in there, get some of your confidence back, show us that you still got it, right? We did not get it in this fight. And I'm not saying that determined the outcome of this fight. All I'm saying is that this sort of standard is always upheld, except all of a sudden when it comes to Charlo, people want to forget about the shit that they said that they've always been talking about throughout, many, many years of boxing history. Go ahead, somebody else.
Brotherhood, go
I
ahead.
think a lot of standards
Hold
have
on.
been
I
different.
wanna.
Not just that single
D.
standard, but it's a lot of standards different from what we know of the old school. Like these guys only fighting twice a year. These guys doing this. Just that's not the only standard. We can't have nostalgia of the old school because that fucking era is dead. This era is way different. So it's not just that standard. There's a whole lot of other standards when you talk about the old school and now.
Can I make a quick point real quick? Just an example.
Let me say this real quick. Since y'all don't want to compare the performance to Triple G performance versus Derevyanchenko, how old was Jacobs when he fought him? Why y'all ain't calling Derevyanchenko Jacobs leftovers when Triple G fought him? The shit changed when it comes to that.
Who says we didn't? Who says we didn't?
Yeah, you just been doing a lot of assuming.
How old was Jacobs?
Hold on. All right. Listen,
I want to make a point real quick.
Yeah.
I want to make a point. Okay. First of all, it's stupid to go back and forth with like what you think would have happened if this guy fought that guy and all that stuff. Look, history has shown Roberto Duran, remember him? He goes up to 160 and fights Marvin Hagler, goes 15 rounds and loses. He gets in the ring, he goes back down to more of a natural weight at 154, and in his very next fight, fights Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns iced him in 2 rounds. Okay? What happens? Everybody's talking shit. Tommy Hearns will fuck up Marvin Hagler, you know, all this nonsense, all this bullshit. Okay, put him in the ring. He got iced. Tommy Hearns got iced in 3 rounds. So stop it with this. I know what would happen. That is your opinion. That is all it is. That's all that is until it happens. Charlo had a nice fight. Finally was put in there with a guy who had a decent shot of beating him. He passed the test.
He passed the test.
That's it. That's all
but that's
happened.
it, right?
That's a great point. That's a great point, recognize.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to play the triangle theory
boxing
nowadays.
Will keep schooling these dudes who think they know everything. Because remember, you're dealing with human beings. You don't know what mindset they'll come in for one fight to another. You have no idea.
Fuck yeah, recognize my hero.
All right.
Well, that could be true. I would say.
Hold on.
I was saying I had some type of idea, me personally, because I called those fights exactly how they happened. So we can use GGG or old school or whatever reasonings, leftovers, but I call both of those fights exactly how they happened. So I knew something.
Let's wait for Lomachenko. Hold on. AD, let's wait for Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez. You made a big prediction.
Even still, and then if Lomachenko gets knocked out by Teofimo Lopez, we're gonna start here. Well, Lomachenko was the agent. He was almost out the door, and blah 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 blah.
Well, we'll see.
Story,
if you get that one right,
that's fanboy. Listen, that's just like kind of like fanboyism. Look, this is what I see. I think that going into the fight, I'm saying it right now. I think Lomachenko is going to beat the dog shit out of him. I could be wrong. I could be wrong come that night. Okay?
You better not disappear again.
And when that don't happen, you're going to have 10 excuses for why it didn't happen, ain't you? Y'all see some real toxic fanboys, bro. Everybody on this panel sound like
fanboy. You talking about
Brotherhood?
Hey,
hold on. Brotherhood. You were talking
and
about
the Charlos get full credit, Brotherhood. The Charlos get full credit, but what you're trying to say that Charlo demolishes Triple G when that fight hasn't even happened.
Yeah.
taking one step at a time,
I didn't
bro.
say that, bro. You put words in my mouth. It must be on your mind.
Yeah, but
That's
just
what you
because
think.
just because your futurized thinking doesn't agree with what I think, don't be calling me that I'm a fanboy.
Yeah, you a fan. If anything, he's a fanboy by the same standpoint.
Yeah, because the Charlos passed the test. I'm a fan of the Charlos, but I'm not fucking getting my pom-poms out fucking saying that I think he's the best of all time.
Brotherhood still hasn't accepted Tyson Fury whip Wilder's ass.
No, he cheated. No, recognize he cheated. All right.
Yeah, but I think Brotherhood was the one crying. Brotherhood was the one crying in the chat the other day when I made a joke about the Dominicans. He was there playing the white knight for everyone, weren't he? I mean, always whining and moaning about something.
Hey, can I say
something? I can tell y'all feelings hurt, bro. Y'all don't sound as happy as y'all did yesterday.
All right. BDA. Guys, BDA. Hold on, Brian. I want to listen to Mr. BDA. Mr. BDA, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I just jumped in to say great discussion going on here. But I got to tell you, I'm a little disturbed that there's people in the chat from saying, they're intimating that we pay the Brotherhood to come in here and stir the pot. I can assure Brotherhood, can you dismiss those rumors, please, for us? Do me that one favor, man. Come on.
I wouldn't accept the dime from these fucking toxic fanboys. You're right. Y'all owe me a few y'all owe me a few chat donations for people spreading dirt on my name, but that's about it.
I mean, but you could use the cash, right, to get those braids there. I mean, that's gotta cost some money, right?
That's braids, man. That's not braids. That's dreadlocks.
Those are braids. Come on, there's a difference
between dress and braids. Bro, you can tell when they fucking suffering from heartbreak from a fight they just saw, bro. You can tell they talk real different.
Which one was that?
Y'all done told me to shut the fuck up. Y'all done talked about Wilder Fury. That's y'all go to.
Wilder cheated. No, Fury cheated. Fury cheated. I agree.
I'm heartbroken about the fight that I picked the winner to win one.
Exactly. That's the fight.
I picked Charlo to win by unanimous decision.
I was telling my Dominican homies. Listen, I think your boy's gonna lose. I like him, but I think he's gonna lose. But I'm heartbroken because I told him that.
No, you hate Dominicans. That's why you hate Dominicans.
I definitely hate y'all feelings.
Hey,
I'm not even a Jermall Charlo fan, and I've said that over and over again before the fight, and still not. But I'm just trying to keep it honest. I don't agree with a lot of the bullshit that I'm hearing about Jermall Charlo, and I'm not even a fan of his. But I just don't agree with a lot of the nonsense that I'm hearing.
That's cool, dude. That's what I mean. That's why you should hang around and fight. Why are you gonna run? What are you gonna go for? We accept your opinion, bro. We're not giving you any problems here. It's called the boxing debate arena, you know.
Yeah. The chat is something else. You have a lot of good people who know about boxing. The chat, then you have the weirdos there. But yeah.
Yeah. Look,
who's cutting up Charlo?
I don't know.
Look, I said, there's certain people that came on this show and made their predictions with their hearts and not their heads. I said that last night before the fights even happened. You know, when these people are saying that Derevyanchenko was going to stop Charlo, I said to him, what has convinced you that that's going to happen? Go back and watch all of Derevyanchenko's fight. What have you seen that is going to convince you that he's going to stop Jermall Charlo? And like I said, a lot of it was done with obviously because they don't like the guy. Let's just say that.
I agree with that. I'm sure a lot of people make that choice like that. Because
you actually said if anybody gets stopped, it'll be Derevyanchenko. You said actually Charlo would stop him before he would stop him.
I told you how the fight was bigger. I told you Jermall would win a wide points decision. He would tag Derevyanchenko up at mid-range, do his best work there. Derevyanchenko will have his moments. This won't be enough. I said it.
I remember you saying that. He damn sure did say that.
Hey, I had Jermall winning the unanimous decision. Right,
but y'all telling me it ain't no type of barometer you can use off of that win we just saw.
Yeah.
Here, do you want to know something? Recognize or not recognize? Brotherhood. Right. Last night was the toughest fight. Well, supposedly the toughest fight of Charlo's career, and he passed it. He passed it.
Bro. Last time I checked, Julian Williams was the fight champion. Derevyanchenko ain't never seen the fucking belt. So how was that his toughest test?
Everybody's here saying, giving the Charlos credit just to appease Brotherhood. I'm going to say it right now. The Charlos are good inside the ring. Outside the ring, they act like a bunch of entitled bitches. There you go. What you got to say about that, Brotherhood?
You're just trying to antagonize
anyone knows me.
Y'all hate them. Y'all hate them low key, but y'all even got to be honest with yourself now that they
outside
the
the
truth.
outside the ring, they act like you do here, man. Very emotional. You know, you show up one day being nice, then the next day, as soon as you disagree or we disagree with you, you turn nasty. You're like the Charlos.
I'm emotional. It sounds like y'all the ones ready to cry on the other line, bro.
No wonder you look up
to everybody, but
one at a time. One at a time.
But you see the funny thing.
I'm not crying over it, right?
The funny thing, everybody here praising the Charlos and Brotherhood still mad. I don't get it.
You know, he wants me to say Charlos Marvin Hagler. He wants
come on.
Yeah, you're right. He is the next Hagler. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you said that.
Oh, man.
More than likely, he's going to
Matter of fact, you know what? That fight last night, that's what Floyd at 135 versus Lomachenko in his prime would look like. A fucking ass whooping.
Brother,
this is you assuming again.
It's old enough to beat Canelo now. Do you think that?
Man, Canelo's scared to death. I just want to see it happen, bro.
Well, let me tell you this: Canelo will beat that nigga like a drum.
Can I ask? Can I ask him to explain one thing? Sorry,
Jimmy.
Can I ask? No, can I ask him to what is his theory behind Charlo turning down 3 separate offers to fight Triple G?
Excellent.
What's your theory behind Triple G and Canelo ducking a mandatory when a mandatory was Jermall Charlo?
That's not what I asked.
That's not an answer. That's not an answer.
See,
it go both ways, bro. It go both ways. They made a whole franchise title for Canelo to duck this man. Triple G, he was Triple G mandatory after beating what's his name, the Mexican fighter Hugo Centeno, and then Triple G ducked him too. So you talking about some fucking imaginary offer that we ain't never heard about,
what do you
bro.
imagine? No, listen, dude, stop it. Cut that bullshit. Right? Don't fucking talk to me like that. I'm an imaginary shit. Tom Loeffler fucking tweeted out the offer. He talked about it in fucking interviews.
So because
Jermell Charlo didn't deny it. He just said he wasn't ready at the time. And the second time he turned it down, he said he was already in camp with somebody else. So this isn't my imagination, dude. I don't come on a show for gotcha moments. Everybody in here is saying Charlo passed the test. You came in here with an agenda, with a chip on your shoulder, wanting to fucking come at everybody, calling me a fanboy. You don't know nothing about me, dude.
No, I came in here trying to compare his performance to Triple G's, and y'all got a problem with that because y'all some Triple G.
No, I haven't. I said it was. Let me fucking finish, for fuck's sake.
Go ahead.
I said it was a better performance from Charlo than it was from Golovkin. I said Charlo looked like he'd been for a facial. He could go another 12. Let's be real. Golovkin was flagging at the end in there. So look, it was a better performance. Yeah, I thought Charlo was brilliant. I mean, what do you want from me? Do you want me to actually start buying Charlo fucking merchandise to keep
Brotherhood, what do you want? What do you want us to say? Go ahead, Brotherhood.
What came after that, bro?
Hold on. I'm speaking.
Bro? Y'all start talking about how old was Golovkin when it happened. Y'all making excuses.
What do you want us to say about Charlo? Brotherhood, I'm going to say it again. What do you want us to say? What do you want us to say about Jermall Charlo? Go ahead.
Just say he performed better than your favorite fighter, bro. Just say it.
Oh, so it's okay. So that's the whole point. Okay, so you want us to?
Okay, and I just gave you the example. Of that means nothing. Okay. I gave you one.
I know example. That's why you making excuses, bro. I know what you did.
No.
You don't know Golovkin when it happened, bro.
Brotherhood.
Hey, yeah, he performed better than Josh Taylor. That's my favorite fighter.
Hold on, let me.
What you are better than Golovkin because Golovkin fight was questionable. A lot of people thought that Derevyanchenko won.
Educate
yourself. It wasn't no question with Jermall, so
let me break down the fight.
Yeah. One at a time, man. Brotherhood, you gotta let people talk. It's called dialogue. Look it up in the fucking dictionary.
I'm sorry, I don't know, guys.
Go ahead, recognize.
Brotherhood is making picks due to emotion because of his racial attachment to these guys. Me, I'm not doing that. I give Jermall Charlo a very good chance to beat Triple G today,
full of
Triple
shit,
G,
bro.
give him a very
Don't
good
smear
chance.
my fucking name, bro. Don't smear my fucking name, bro. Where'd you come up
Smear
with
it,
that shit?
Smear it, recognize. Smear the name, man.
Blasphemy.
Hey, by the way, can I just tell
about my racial
before he goes?
attachment? I called in yesterday and explained why I think both fighters will win. But you talking about racial attachment, and then everything I said happened. So how is that racial attachment rather than just boxing knowledge?
Because that's what you do. That's what you do.
All right, Mr. BDA.
No,
Mr.
that's what
BDA.
you think I do, bro. That's the only way you can try to discredit my opinion. So that's
I have to be a stickler. I have to be a stickler about dates. It wasn't last. It wasn't last night that you called in. It was the night before. Second of all, I think Butch. I don't know if you want to move on from this, but Brotherhood. Good job today. We're going to be sending you the funds over via Bitcoin, so check that out. It's going to be a little bit extra.
He won't accept it. He won't accept it.
No. There's going to be a little extra there for a good job this week, right? You did a good job today.
Well, I don't know what the people.
You know what, BDA, Bucho? That's why I always say this: it's a fine line between film study and resume, and a lot of people down Jermall Charlo, and I heard this phrase over. Well, who the fuck did he fight? Who the fuck did he fight? He ain't fought this guy. He fought Brandon Adams. He fought Hogan. So it's a fine line between putting everything on resume and fucking pulling up some film and look at what these fighters can do in the ring. Now, I didn't put it on Charlo's resume because his resume is abysmal. You know, J-Rock was his best fight prior to this.
He's right. Steve's right.
Let D finish, man. Let D finish, man.
So delay.
I thought he had finished.
No, he wasn't done. Go ahead, D.
Yeah, I mean it's all good. Let them talk. It's just cut and dry. You can't put everything on fucking resume. You gotta fucking pull up some film sometime and see what these guys can do. Look at the intangibles. Look at the power. Look at how they move. Look what they present.
I'm glad you said that, D. Jefferson.
Mid-range. You know what I mean? Don't just put it on.
The eye test counts.
I
thought you were a boxer warrior. Before, I thought you were a boxer warrior.
All right, guys. One at a time, please. One at a time. We can't.
Hey, BDA, I think you have a delay, man. Because, anyways.
There's some delay.
I got a big delay.
Look, what I'll say is D's right. Like sometimes resume doesn't necessarily mean who's going to win the fight. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that mentality can change. Everything can change in the middle of a fight. When the way you look going into one fight is not necessarily what's going to happen in the next one. Okay, again, I'm going to keep bringing it up. Most people thought Hagler was going to get killed. Jimmy could tell you about this. There were a lot of people that was like, based on the performance against Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran went up to 160, went 15 rounds, all 15 rounds with Marvin Hagler. Hagler won a decision win, okay? But he gave a good fight, gave a good effort. Roberto Duran goes into the next fight. The very next fight goes back down to his natural weight, or more closer to his natural weight, 154. Fights Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns blows him out in 2 rounds. People were talking shit. They were saying, look, Hagler's done. Hearns is going to beat him. And what happens? They were almost right. If you look at that fight, the first round, he busts Hagler's face up. But you don't know what the fuck's going to happen. What happens? Hagler starts fighting back. Next thing you know, in the 3rd round, he's knocking him out. So stop acting like you know what the fuck's going to happen. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. What Brotherhood is saying is bullshit. Okay? Brotherhood is just spewing his opinion, and if you don't agree with it, oh, you're a fanboy. Like, fuck that. No, I don't agree with you until it happens. Let's see the fight and then see what happens. I give him a great chance.
The thing is, though, you can't predict the Golovkin fight against Charlo based on Derevyanchenko. They've been different problems, different sort of fighters completely. I mean, Charlo's going to have different problems that night than he had with Derevyanchenko. Do you know what I mean? So it's just the 2 different styles. You can't just... It's the triangle theory sometimes, like I said, I don't like to use it. So where I am with Golovkin, he's slowed down quite a bit, Golovkin. I think Charlo's going to give him one hell of a fight, but it's whether Charlo can handle Golovkin's constant pressure, which I've seen a lot of fighters fold under.
If
So
those
how
two
many?
fight,
How
who do
many
you
of
guys
y'all
have winning? That's what
third?
I want to ask that question. If Charlo and GGG fights, I want y'all to go around. Who do you guys have winning that fight?
Maybe Charlo.
Right now, maybe Charlo. But again, he's going to be 40 years old. That's night and day. You know what I mean? It's like it sucks when it's like, and we all said this was going to happen. Every one of us in the panel, I can tell you, said it at one time, 2-3 years ago when Charlo was straight turning down offers, one offer after another. He turned down offers, and regardless, and he is a talented kid. Everybody can see that. But he was fighting nobodies. I mean, literally nobodies, one after another. So all of a sudden, like he hung around on the fucking fringe for 4 or 5 years. Waits for the dude to collect Social Security, and then dun dun dun. Here I am. It's just I'm not going to give him the same credit if he would have fought him 4 years ago or 3 years ago when he first got that fucking belt.
Hater.
Yeah,
that's all.
Hater.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sorry, I've been trying to talk. This is what I don't understand, man. Like, people have different opinions for whatever damn reason. I just don't understand how someone is talking about respect, and then when you give your own opinion about something that differs with them, then they're gonna insult you. They're gonna insult your opinion. Like how old are you? You know what I mean? Like I don't expect to come on here and agree with everybody. If people say a whole bunch of shit on the show that I don't agree with, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna jump all over them because they don't agree with me. That's spoiled. That's bratty. That's bitch made. It's like you gotta grow up at some point, girls. And another thing, whenever, hold on a minute. Can I finish?
Hold on.
Fuck no, man. Fuck no.
Go ahead.
And another thing is this whole idea about he's my favorite fighter. He's my really. Just stop it already, man. That's just telling everybody everything they need to know. No, it doesn't matter if you like them or you dislike them. It's not supposed to be about that. I'm telling you what I see, and fuck it. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. And insofar as like comparing, because Brotherhood comes on here and he wants to compare the performances, and that's cool. Let's do that. And then Bucho says, all right, let's compare the performances. And he starts putting it into context, where Brotherhood doesn't want to put it into context. He just wants to create his own milieu of how he compares the fight. And he's not going to take anybody else's opinion on how they compare the fight. It's like, look, state your own opinion. All right, be a grown man. Grab your fucking balls if you have to, and then let somebody else have their own opinion. And if they don't, and if their opinions happens not to agree with you, get the fuck over it, man. How fucking old are you? Come on, man. Stop acting like a bunch of bitches.
You angry, bro. That's all toxic feminine energy you putting out, bro. So when I give my opinion, though, it's people on the panel saying, "Oh, he only picked them because of race and all this stuff." Why don't you say that same shit? Motherfuckers saying that on this panel.
Brotherhood, that was way after. Brotherhood, that was way after. Brotherhood, that was way after. Let's be honest. Like there was a lot of screaming and shouting before that.
You keep muting me just to cut me off, bro. So fuck all y'all, bro.
All right, because you keep screaming. So if you didn't scream, then I wouldn't have to mute you. But there you go. Anyways,
I got Charlo. All right, but Charlo versus Triple G. No, I got Charlo winning that fight.
That's fine. I'm not gonna yell at you. I'm gonna scream and go like, "You're fucking crazy!" And then play the race cards.
Everything is going on at the same time. Queen Lisa.
The hell's going on there? All right.
Lisa Bill.
Can I even say sometimes my opinion? I've come on this show and I had my opinion changed. One thing I didn't want it to change, but actually, Precise said some stuff about 9/11. Not to bring it to that. That's all I'm gonna say about it. He said some shit about it, and from the way he said it, it made me look into it. And I wish I didn't, because now I'm really, really disgusted. But I completely changed 180, and I'll come on here and say it. I was wrong. Precise was fucking. I wanted to. Hoping I hope he's still on, so I could tell him that. That time we talked about 9/11, you said some stuff, dude.
I corrupted you. I stole your innocence. I apologize.
He corrupted you.
Do you know how many
times? I mean, dude, it scares me now, dude, because I had my whole, I was angry, but not at you. I was when that happened, because I know someone died on it, and I was thinking but like you said, man, I just lift up the fucking layers, dude. It's ugly.
Can these be applied to
I didn't know it, but I wanted to say I was wrong that night because I acted like I knew what I was talking about, and I didn't. I didn't know what I was talking about.
All right, hold on, because there's a delay. Go ahead, Precise.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I felt the same way initially, right? But then you look into it, you start asking the questions, and your opinion, you might not completely agree with everything I gotta say, but your opinion is gonna change. And the same thing happened to me, man. And what are you gonna do, right?
Scary.
It's like
Scary.
Can this happen to boxing as well?
And just to bring it back to on topic, because I'm being accused of picking Derevyanchenko. No, I picked Charlo, and I said on that show that he's a good fighter. I mean, you could just roll it back and check it out. Obviously, nobody will, because nobody really gives a fuck. They just want to roll with their own stupid ass narrative that they make up. But I gave Charlo credit. I said he's a good fighter, and I picked him to beat Derevyanchenko. It is what it is. Peace.
I give Charlo for that one last time. I give him all the credit in the world.
Fighting game stuff. There's no fighter that can't.
But
and to characterize and say that the whole panel is like a Triple G. Look, I'm a fan of great fighters, and Triple G's a great fighter. You cannot say he's not a great fighter. And for the new kid in town to come in and like Charlo, he's 30 and he's making a splash. For everybody to say, oh no, well fucking Charlo would beat GGG, and if you don't think the way I think, you guys are fanboys of GGG. I was a fanboy of GGG when he was in his prime, and I still am, but because he's a great fighter. That's all.
Yeah. That's at the end of the day, it's boxing. All right. And we all got different opinions. We all like different fighters. We all like different styles. We all grow up differently when it comes to boxing, right? Some of us we all like wrong. I think we all like that. But right, we all have something that drives us to a certain fighter. Either it's style, ability, it's toughness, it could be anything and like that there. But at the end of the day, it's boxing. And, many times I've been wrong. I've probably been wrong more times than I've been right. So.
It's going to happen, man.
Should be ashamed. Should be ashamed.
Yeah. Well, I'm ashamed.
Look, I'm going out on a limb right now. And I'm probably going to be right, or there's a good chance I'm going to be wrong. I'm saying Lomachenko beats the shit out of Teofimo Lopez.
Right.
That's my prediction.
It's logical.
I think he's gonna hurt him. I think there's a big mistake.
That's my prediction too. These predictions
I could be wrong.
I
could be wrong. I could be totally wrong.
It's boxing. Yeah. Two guys in the ring. Come on.
Hey, and my prediction I'll get is Loma rounds 10 to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, precise.
No, it wasn't precise.
I'll get a bit of stick in the chat because let's say that when I get one right, Stu's got one right for once. Let's celebrate and all that lot. I'm like, I've got quite a good record.
You're gonna
do all right with my prediction.
They're just fucking with you, man. All right.
I know. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, a lot of people think I get a lot wrong, but I don't think I do actually. When I look back, it's very rare I go on a bad run like some of these guys on it, and some of these guys are having stinkers, aren't they?
Yeah. Before wait, I want to get Phil in here. Phil, are you there?
Yeah, buddy. What's up?
What's up, man? What's on your mind? Tell us your thoughts on both fights.
The Charlo fights, right?
Yep.
Well, I mean,
yeah, man, you're breaking up, man.
Jermall was going into the Derevyanchenko fight, but can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
All right, so both the fights pretty much turned out how I thought they would. I was mainly more worried about Jermell than I was Jermall. The only concern I had about Jermall was his output, right? We all know that Derevyanchenko is going to come into the fight. He's going to try to get inside, and he's going to throw a lot of punches. And if you guys keep up with statistics, Jermall output, is really not that good as far as him fighting at 160 pounds. He throws less punches than pretty much all the top guys combined almost. So that was my main concern. And I thought if he came out, stood behind his jab, threw more punches, he would be all right. Control the fight just like he did. To me, it was an easy win. Now, as far as Jermell is concerned, I think that Jermell is a really good fighter. First of all, let me say that he's a really, really talented fighter, but he does have a lot of flaws in his game. You know, I think one is he gets very impatient. At times he gets wild, and I think he gets frustrated with himself if the game plan isn't working as he envisions it to work. Um, Last night he had some times where he had some lapses in defense. His output wasn't as efficient as I would have liked it to be. But at the end of the day, he ended up getting to stop it. But he does need to work on a lot of technical aspects of his game, and that would just make him that much of a better of a fighter. But I figure both the Charlo brothers would come out with the win. We have one that's unified, and we have one that's the current WBC champion, and you know those guys are good for boxing at this point in time. That's pretty much all I got to say about it at this point.
I have a question for you, Phil. Do you think it's necessary to compare Charlo's performance against Derevyanchenko with Golovkin's performance against Derevyanchenko? Do you think it's necessary to do that?
Well, I mean, now whether it's necessary or whether it's natural to do so is two different things. Do I think it's necessary? No, absolutely not. Do I think it's natural for spectators to compare the two? Absolutely. I mean, you know, when you talk about boxing, everything is, you know, they want to make everything a comparison because it's a mono versus a mono sport, right? So,
right.
When you know you look at the performance against Derevyanchenko versus Golovkin versus the one against Charlo, totally different sets of circumstances, totally different, you know, style of training camp. You know, this era right now of boxing that we're in with this COVID-19 is a lot different. I know guys have to make a lot of adjustments as far as their training regimens, and you never know how this can affect some fighters. It could be good for some fighters. It could be bad for some fighters. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's necessary to compare them, but do I think it's natural? Absolutely. But I do think, in the grand scheme of things, I think Charlo handled himself better in the ring than Triple G did. But you know, Triple G is an Asian fighter, and so is Derevyanchenko. But both of those guys are very talented, and you know, you got to get a win any way you can in boxing.
Right, good point. I think you put the fight into context as the difference from somebody else who wasn't here. All right, Stu, we can hear what the hell you're saying, man. All right.
Stu might be breaking up, yeah. But like, listen, yeah. it is kind of natural to like.
Sorry, boys, I was talking to my dog. I thought I was muted.
It is
I think he's drunk.
Yeah. Drunk.
No, I'm not a drop, mate. I'm not a big drinker. It's coming from you, Gonzalo.
That was precise.
Yeah. Go back to Phil's point. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say it is kind of natural. It is kind of natural to compare performance, but don't get hooked on that. Is what I'm trying to say. There has been many examples in boxing history that will show you that that's not the case. Okay, so look, do I give Charlo a good shot of beating Triple G now? Yeah, I think that's a 50-50 fight.
Mm-hmm.
Depending who you are, you might pick Charlo as the slight favorite. But that's, you know, that doesn't mean that because you think that way, that's exactly what's going to happen. If you think that, man,
no, that's how it works.
You've never been in a fight, more than likely. Fight, man. Sometimes you can win. Sometimes you think you got that dude, and that dude hits you with some shit, and you just don't react right. That's all.
Can I ask Bucho? Did you say that the person who was arguing also said that he picked Wilder, and the reason Wilder lost was because of Glovegate? Like he's one of the people promulgating that.
Yes, that was that Brotherhood dude. Yeah.
No, so the same guy who's actually saying that it was a loaded glove is now calling me a fanboy.
Jimmy. To be fair, this is what Brotherhood said, and he probably will jump on at some point in another show to make sure that I didn't put word in his mouth. He said that he wouldn't
be
surprised based on Fury's past transgressions, whatever you want to call it, like because he supposedly cheated in the past, so he probably cheated in this fight. That was his logic. There's no proof.
Now, when he says, does anybody know cheating? Does he mean like steroids, or what does he say?
No, he's talking about loaded gloves, tampered gloves that would affect
the Christian Hammer fight.
Right, like I don't even know what happened with the Christian Hammer fight.
He had to take his gloves off because there was something wrong with him, and they had to wear like another pair or something, or they had to relace it. Like there was something wrong with the gloves.
And he still beat up.
Didn't it break the thumb piece?
No, let's not get into the glove thing, man. Fuck that shit, man.
Hold on, can you guys hear me?
No, yeah, we can. Go ahead.
I hear you. Okay.
No, I was gonna ask you, did he still beat up Christian Hammer after they changed his gloves?
Yeah, he still
wasn't
did.
fight. Still wasn't fight, right?
But I understand what he's saying about like the past, like Fury. He has used performance enhancing.
No,
drugs.
but I'm asking you,
been...
L-Dog, did he not win the fight? Did he still beat up Christian Hammer?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Okay,
yeah, but
so you could tell that the gloves weren't really an issue then.
Forget about. Listen, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. What happened? You need to bring proof.
Just real quick, man.
Yeah,
I think we beating a dead horse with the glove gate, the Fury thing. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder is going to get another shot to fight against Tyson Fury. As things are scheduled now, we'll see how that goes. And until that happens, right now, Fury is considered to be one of the best heavyweights in the world. And I just feel like we just need to keep it at that. You know, let's just move on.
I agree, man. We've talked about this glove gate for a long time.
All right. I wasn't trying to bring it up like that. I
get it, Jimmy.
heard you say that earlier, so I wanted to make sure like that's who you were talking about.
No,
it's the same guy. It's the same guy.
Okay, all right.
My question is, why isn't Fury?
Hold on. Precise. Go ahead, precise.
Why? Because I keep hearing this over and over from people. Why isn't Fury the best heavyweight in the world? Like I know, maybe he's still got to prove it. But if we're gonna have a number one, why isn't Fury that guy? Why do I keep hearing?
Because
one
AJ
of
has
the
a better
best?
resume.
They claim AJ is.
Yeah, but AJ got knocked out by a fat slob.
Yeah, he did, but he came back and he beat him. But he does have a better resume.
He
He's
came
beat
back and what?
He's beat Povetkin. He's beat Ruiz. He's beat Klitschko. Beat
No,
Charles
but
Martin.
he beat, and then he lost.
Right.
Fury hasn't lost yet.
But let me put it to you this way: Fury, he actually.
So you're picking AJ to beat Fury.
Yes, I would.
No way, although you're just saying that to make it.
Let me say this real quick.
And let me say this: Fury got knocked down by a bum twice.
Yeah, but he didn't lose.
You know, I don't give Fury doesn't get credit for beating up a bum and Deontay Wilder. He's a bum.
Okay, I'll say this much. Okay, I get what you're saying. I will say yes. AJ has the better resume.
You say that, but against Ruiz,
hold on, guys.
Anthony Joshua. Hang on a sec. Against Ruiz in the first fight, Anthony Joshua looked like fucking Jackie Wilson in there. I mean, let's be real. It was an embarrassing performance. I mean, the whole country had their head in the holding their head.
The Fury fight, that was an embarrassing performance.
All right, hold on. Precise, finish your point.
I just want to say, like, if you want to talk about who fought better competition, who's got better wins, yeah, of course. Well, it's debatable, no doubt about it. But I'm talking about the best heavyweight right now. When you take a loss, you're supposed to drop in the rankings. Your resume is not going to save your ass. It's because it's not about who's got the best resume or who's the greatest all time or who's the better all time great. It's about who's the best right now. And logically, it has to be Tyson Fury because I would think because he beat one of the other top three guys in the division, which AJ has not done. He has not beaten any of the top three guys in the division.
Yes, he has. Ruiz was top 3 when he was a unified world champion after beating AJ.
Okay, but wait, that doesn't. No. He wasn't before.
Come on, man.
He's just joking.
See, this is what you're doing. This is what you're ignoring the fact that he lost to Ruiz. You want to sweep that under the rug, but the fact that he lost to Ruiz somehow makes Ruiz like a great fighter that he got to beat eventually.
You said he hasn't beat a top 3 heavyweight, but how could he not have beaten the top 3 heavyweight when he beat the guy holding 3 out of the 4 bouts?
The point I'm making, hold on. The point I'm making is that he went 1-1 with that guy. So yeah, he beat him, but he also lost to him. So it's not like
he lost him worse.
I think obviously Tyson Fury as well. He's done it on the road. He's done it on the road. Beat Klitschko in Germany. Beat Wilder twice for me in the States. I mean, Joshua, all his victories at home in comfortable conditions. The minute he went out of his comfort zone to the States, he fell to pieces. So look, you've got to put that into account as well.
Can I add something to
Hey, real quick, Brian, real quick. I wanted to go piggyback off of what Precise was saying to L Dog, because L Dog's always on some foolishness. L Dog, you can call Ruiz top 3, but what that was an unproven guy at top 3 because he beat AJ. That's what that was.
How was he unproven? We saw he was competitive enough to argue to win a world title against Joseph Parker.
Here, can I add something onto that? Right. Also, Andy Ruiz did it in a better fashion than what AJ did his job in. He stopped them.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. A masterclass, see, so many people excited on these fucking knockouts. Don't tell me that a masterclass boxing performance is less than a stoppage. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, 4 years ago, I watched the video of
that's true. That's why
Anthony
Mayweather.
Joshua, right? Anthony Joshua. Yeah, can I just say, 4 years ago, I watched the video of Anthony Joshua, and basically what he said was something very simple. He goes, no respect for fighters who run after the Tyson Fury performance against. So I guess he has no respect for himself.
Can I just say something about the stoppages? I agree with, a little bit with what D. Jefferson's saying. Stoppage is much better. That's why I always credit Golovkin, because actually it takes skills to have power, because you got to throw their punches with the right technique to generate enough power. You got a lot of fighters these days that are slapping because they don't have the proper technique. And to that also, I want to add that Floyd Mayweather, that's why I take a little bit of credit away from his career. He wasn't stopping a lot of these fighters, and I don't want to hear that bullshit that he was a small welterweight, because he wasn't. Actually, he could have fought at 154 as well. So yeah, and Floyd was grabbing and shit. And now I'm hating on Floyd, but that's just thought about that, man. I have to say it, man. Like he there's a lot of moments where he could have stopped a lot of these fighters, like Robert Guerrero.
Here's another triangle moment. Here's another triangle that goes against a lot of people's theories. Pacquiao fights Cotto, beats the fucking shit out of him, right? Yeah. Floyd fights Cotto, he gives Floyd Mayweather a good fight. Floyd goes in there against Manny Pacquiao and beats him on points. I mean, listen, man, shut up with these things, man. Boxing has shown.
He hurt
Boxing will always prove you wrong, man. Boxing will always prove you wrong in the end.
The Mayorga, Vernon Forrest.
Can I comment real quick? Just real quick, can I say something?
Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, Phil, go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I said the thing that I said about him being one of the best heavyweights in the world is to, avoid the whole, who you think is the best guy. You're going to have your guys that's going to like AJ. You're going to have your guys that's going to like Fury. You're going to have your guys that's going to like Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz. You're going to like your guys. At the end of the day, until these guys actually get in the ring with one another, the truth of the matter is, no matter if one beat Ruiz, one beat Wilder, one beat Klitschko, both beat Klitschko, it doesn't matter until Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, right now the two current heavyweight champions, get into the ring and fight one another. They are the two best based off both of those guys have belts. So when I say one of the best, I'm just trying to avoid the whole triangle theory of what just happened, basically, because both of those guys are really, really talented heavyweights, and you're not wrong for picking either one of them. So I think we can debate about things that we can actually kind of fact check versus things that are just that can't be proven until these guys actually get in the ring and do it. But carry on.
Yeah. I just want to respond to that real quick. No, it makes perfect sense, and I don't disagree, because what he's saying is correct. He is one of the best, obviously. I just remember somebody else came on the show a few weeks ago and said, that he's got Fury in their top 3, and I've just been hearing this, like, if you're gonna rank these guys, which you weren't doing, so I'm not saying you. I apologize if I got that wrong. But if you're gonna rank these guys, I just don't see how Fury isn't the number one. But that's just the way I look at it. It's whatever. If you disagree, I just agree
for
to
me,
disagree.
it's a bit of eye test as well. I think AJ's a better technical boxer at his best than Fury is. A lot of people want to act like Fury is a defensive genius. He got knocked down twice by Deontay Wilder. He got knocked down by Steve Cunningham. You know, he got brutally hurt against Otto Wallin. I'm just saying,
He got
like,
knocked
he's
down
not
by
this,
somebody else
this
too.
technical. He's not this.
He was not brutally. Hey, Doc, he was not brutally hurt
I've
by Otto
criticized
Wallin.
Fury's defense
Stop
many
making shit
times.
up,
Not
bro.
his defense, but the fact that people say he's this great defensive fighter. I've even done videos. I've even done videos making fun of that shit because it is ridiculous. I would have thought that a lot of the AJ hype would have died down after he got knocked out by that fat slob, but I guess I was wrong about that.
Well, one of the things with AJ though, he still got power. The big question is the chin, but the power still makes him dangerous because he's not just a bum; he's got boxing skills too. But the power, right?
Here's a scenario that could happen.
Let's hold up. This whole theory about AJ's chin is, to me, is baloney as well. I mean,
no, he's been hurt multiple times. He's been hurt multiple times.
If you really want to stick to the facts, AJ's never been just like stop. I mean, they called it a TKO against Ruiz, but AJ was on his feet, and honestly, looked like he probably could have kept fighting. Now, it would have been dangerous for him to keep fighting, but
but he's walking around eggshells now. He's pussyfooting around the ring. He's fighting scared. He fought scared in that second fight. That's my big thing. Not the fact that he got wiped out off his feet, but he just was fighting too careful in that second fight, sticking out his tongue.
And can I just say too, real quick?
The second fight is, I think he fought a extreme, and at the end of the day, these boxers don't care how us fans think they should win because they just want to win. They don't care about that. So to me, when I analyzed AJ the second time around, he did exactly what he should have done the first time around, which was box Andy Ruiz at distance, don't let him get inside, and control the fight. Happy he got the win, and that's how he was supposed to do it the first time.
Can I say
so that doesn't raise questions about the chin? He won, yes, but we were talking about the chin.
Yeah, well,
I think AJ's chin, it is weak because Ruiz.
Hold on, let Phil respond because Phil said, "Go ahead, Phil."
Look, as far as the chin is concerned, okay. Now these guys are heavyweights, so I'm not saying that none of these you can get your lights put out at any given time. But AJ has never been actually stopped before, as in knocked out. So when people come to the thing and say, "Oh well, this guy buzzed him, what's so what? He got buzzed." Ruiz is the only guy that actually got a technical knockout against Anthony Joshua. So when people come to me and they question this guy's chin and he's got 20-something fights, I think it's just ridiculous. This guy's a good fighter, and all he's been doing is proving it since he's beat.
I think it's the recovery. I think is it Phil? I think it's the recovery, Phil. My problem is I think he holds a good shot because that shot Klitschko landed on it would have took most people's head off. So yeah, he does hold a good shot. The problem is when he gets up, his fucking legs are not there, and they don't come back for like 3 rounds at a time. I mean, look, Klitschko just didn't have enough in the tank to get the job done, or he would have got stopped that night. I mean, the second fight with Ruiz, it was just embarrassing, the whole thing. Not by Joshua's point of view.
The thing is, can I say something real fast? The thing is, with the chin, it's not the fact that he's going down and staying down. It's changing his whole fighting style because he's got a high KO ratio. But when you cannot take a punch, that means if you're like a pressure fighter and you're coming forward and you can't rely on your chin, you're not going to fight the same. You can't be a pressure fighter. Well, I'm not saying that he is a pressure fighter, but just the fact that he can't rely on his chin like he used to means he got to change his fighting style. And he showed that against the Parker fight. He shot very timid. He showed that against Ruiz in the second fight. I'm not talking about when he got hurt against Povetkin. I'm not talking about when he got hurt against White. And I'm not talking about when he got hurt against Klitschko. I'm talking the fights that he actually won, that he was fighting very careful, means that because he got hurt in the other fights, he's being more wary. He's not fighting with the same pressure style. Not that he's a pressure fighter, but he's not fighting as a puncher. Right?
And can I say too?
About the whole chin thing? Go ahead, Jimmy. Hold on.
The idea is to hit and don't get hit. Like, I don't understand how you guys are criticizing a guy because these guys have to be fluid.
Get hit and not get hit, but that means he changed his style. And that style is not going to favor him fighting the Fury. Because Fury's a much better
hold on,
boxer.
Gonzalo. You gotta let Phil finish his point. Go ahead, Phil.
Yes.
Look. At the end of the day, this is the problem, I think, with us fans. We try to box these guys in. These guys are fighters, man. You can't box these guys in and say, this is Anthony Joshua's style. I'm mad because he's not fighting that way. As I just mentioned,
what I was saying, what I was saying, that the most effective style for Joshua is the punching, because he's a strong, big guy. Those are his attributes. If he's going to fight a Fury, he's more fitted for a boxer puncher in Fury.
Let me just get this point out. I'm not going to be with you guys much longer. The most effective style for Anthony Joshua is whatever style it takes to capitalize against your opponent. Okay? Why would you want to fight inside with a guy like Parker, who's better than you at fighting inside? Why would you want to do that against a guy like Andy Ruiz that's better fighting inside than you are? What you do is you take your attributes, okay, and you come up with a game plan, and you follow that game plan, and you get the win. We cannot box these guys in and say he's supposed to fight like this because I feel like this. I'm not going to criticize any guy for getting a clean win against an opponent and basically taking away what he does well, and that's fight inside. He doesn't want to get hit. Yeah. To me, that's the signs of an intelligent fighter. That's the signs of an intelligent fighter, and I don't see how you can criticize it.
No, I'm not criticizing, but what I am saying that if it goes down to that where Fury fights Joshua, those attributes are going to suit Fury better when it comes to boxing, because AJ's robotic, and I think it would suit him better to actually punch, but since his chin is wary, he's not going to be willing to do that, right? So I just think stylistically with those two guys, I would favor Fury.
You don't know. You don't know. I mean, AJ's fought in several different styles since he became a professional. You know, you're thinking just because he fought one way against somebody else, you're assuming that he's going to fight that way against somebody against Fury. No, I think this guy can come up with a combination of ways to win, and we're just going to have to see what he does when the fight actually happens. I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play. Well, I think he's going to do this. No, let's wait and see. He's skilled enough to fight in several different styles, and I'm curious to see him do it.
Phil, yeah, but
you're right. He could keep on winning. He could keep on winning just like the way he's fighting now. But I'm just saying he's not getting the knockouts anymore like he used to. But that's because of the chin. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He could change up his style and he could keep on winning. Ain't more credit to him.
But look. AJ could keep winning.
Recognize.
Who's talking?
No, that was me. I was just listening in, but Fury's my guy, and I want to weigh in on this. Weigh in on this a little bit.
Can I say something quick about AJ?
I just want to put the point out there. When you look at these two fighters,
D. Jefferson, Recognize wanted to say something before.
DDD, Recognize wants to say something quick. Go ahead, Recognize.
You know, the whole thing about AJ not winning by knockouts anymore, I think that's a little lame. Here's why I say that. Okay, he's fought 2 fights in a row against Andy Ruiz. One, he got knocked out, and then he won by decision. He played it safe, right? And it was boring. But who did he not? When was the last knockout he had? That would be Povetkin, the fight before Ruiz. So, remember,
right.
You know, it's like it's not like he had to knock somebody out in like 10 years or something. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
He knocked out the last 2 opponents he's fought was Ruiz. The last 2 opponents he fought was Ruiz and Povetkin, and he did stop Alexander Povetkin. You know what I'm saying? So it's still he can still knock guys out. He can still do it.
And can I just say real quick too, because before I forget that train of thought about what Precise was saying earlier about, there's no doubt about it. Fury, I don't understand it either. How anybody can't, whether you like him or not, put him number 1, because I don't care how many times he's been knocked down. I don't, you know what I mean? AJ, he might have fought better fighters, whatever, but he lost. And not only did he lose, he got stopped. So no matter what, it's like I fought 10 hot chicks in a row, then fucked a 400-pound heifer. That 400-pound heifer negates 5 of them hot chicks right off the rip. You know what I mean? Like, so no, Tyson Fury's number 1. He's the A-side. He's the undefeated. Never been, you know what I mean? Never been stopped, and that means something in boxing. You know what I mean? That's what. I think what Precise was saying earlier, too, like that's what we always went by. It's hard for me, too, this whole new it's sometimes I feel maybe I'm just not even fucking got the right mindset for this anymore.
Yeah.
Nah, you guys can be absolutely right. You know,
hold on,
you
Gonzalo, because
Guys-
Gonzalo, we gotta let other people speak because D Jefferson wants to say something. Go ahead, D.
Okay.
Go ahead, D.
All right, so here's what I wanted to say. If Andy Ruiz knocked Joshua out, right? Joshua could not adapt in that fight. Once he got put down, he just got discombobulated. And my point is, Anthony Joshua needed an entire training camp to come back and change his style so that he can beat Ruiz. My point with that is, who chose the ability to adapt within the fight better? Is it Joshua or is it Fury? It's clearly Fury, man.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would
energy
agree with that.
to turn it into what Fury naturally does. This is what Fury naturally does. He had to adapt to do that. So if you're talking about a fighter who can make adjustments, which one can adapt better within the fight, it's going to be Tyson Fury, not Anthony Joshua, in my opinion.
Can I say something?
Ruiz adapted and became fatter. In the rematch, he made an adjustment. He became fat. Go ahead.
Who I forget who it was talking about getting knocked down, whatever. Phil, I think. Anyway, look, a lot of boxing fans blow shit way out of proportions. They use hyperbole and they're lying. It's true, but to say that we can't take Joshua get knocked down as like even into consideration when it comes to his next fight, let's say. I mean, that's ridiculous to say that we shouldn't look at the fact that he's been put down before, that his chin is somehow good. No. Yeah, it is the heavyweight division, and if you get cracked right, anybody could go. But it just so happens that there are such guys like Vitaly Klitschko, for example, who have gotten cracked plenty and never went down. The only time I think he was really hurt was against the Australian dude that he got hurt real good, but never went down. So we got to look at it objectively and be able to say that guy has a monster chin, which doesn't mean that AJ has a shit chin, but it's not as good as Klitschko. So if he's fighting somebody like Klitschko, which he won't be, obviously, but if he is, then that is something to take into consideration and criticize him for, because at the very least, it's going to cost him points. Now, when it comes to, I'm gonna hand the mic over to somebody else. That's all I wanted to say, is that it's just a lot of people exaggerate, basically, but it's just a way of comparing fighters to one another, and I think it's important to take that into consideration, period.
I thought AJ knocked Klitschko down. So to say he never got knocked down, I thought AJ.
Vitaly.
Oh, okay.
Look, all I'm saying real fast, my suspicion is that AJ doesn't have that great of a chin. That's just my opinion. I'm a boxing fan, and that's just what I suspect. Hey, I think I might be right because I like boxing, but then again, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I've seen AJ rock too many times, so I've kept
Dillian White.
It started with a Dillian White fight, I believe.
Yeah.
Dillian White, Harris Tackham rocked him. Who else? What's his name? Povetkin punched him up a few times, and I've seen his legs wobble. Also, Vladimir Klitschko rocked him.
Right.
And other more level fighters have rocked him. So I've seen him rocked a few times. Not knocked down, but I've seen him rock. And in the heavyweight division, that can happen.
Yeah,
the chin's not great.
Also, real quick. Also, I thought that Lennox Lewis stopped Vitaly.
He did.
No, that cut. Yeah, there was a huge cut. Remember the eye? Gross.
He hit him. Lennox Lewis hit him with everything.
You remember that uppercut? He hit him with a huge uppercut. You fucking Klitschko's. He
destroyed his face, and then the dude never went down.
No,
one last thing about the heavyweights and comparing their performances, because the color or somebody else was saying that he's not going to criticize AJ for his sucky performance against in the second fight against Ruiz, and that's cool. That's his opinion. For me, that was a terrible, terrible performance. Now look, the excuse is that the reason is that why should he fight Ruiz inside? He should. I'm not saying he should, but when we look at something like what Fury did against Deontay Wilder, right? He kept his distance and he fought at a safe distance, but still came forward. So I'm going to give that guy more credit because that's more difficult to do than moving away from a guy and looking to pick him off. And we saw the result, right? With Tyson Fury coming forward, stepping into his punches, still maintaining distance, still not fighting inside, staying outside and doing the deed. So So yeah, people exaggerate. They say, "Oh, he sucked" or whatever, and to me, he did. But it's just a way of comparing this guy's performance against another guy's performance, and it's a way of giving the other guy more credit because he deserves it. Go ahead.
Hey, Precise, look, you know how all of these guys, and I'm not talking about Gonzalo here. I'm talking about a lot of these motherfuckers that talk this shit about AJ, right? They never cried about Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? He didn't go in there and just try to romp with motherfuckers on the inside. They never cried about him.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy out there, but like, what else is new? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, right. I'm just saying, right, from my point of view, right, when both fighters changed their styles, when Fury changed his style for Wilder, and when AJ changed his style for what's his name, Ruiz, right, it looked more natural for Fury to do what he did. Fury made it look more natural. AJ still looks stiff in what he did. You know, which means he was fighting against his natural. AJ throughout the fight was fighting against his natural ability to go forward. Because I think at times he wanted to go forward, he wanted to mix it up with Reeves, and it was like in his mind, I won't do that because I can get hurt. If you know what I mean. Like there was
that was all down to a lack of confidence with Joshua that night. I mean, it was a nervous wreck in there.
Oh, can I intervene? Can I intervene on that point?
Yep.
All right. So look. All right. This is the deal right here. Okay. So for me, I like all the heavyweights. You understand what I'm saying? I like Fury. I like AJ. I even like Wilder. And Luis Ortiz is my favorite. And we all know he's already lost twice. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that AJ does certain things well inside of the ring. Okay, I do think Fury is the kind of fighter that can adapt on the fly. I do think that's one great thing about Tyson Fury. But I think AJ intellect inside of the ring is underrated. You know, I don't know if you guys understand this, but it takes a lot of discipline to be a guy that naturally wants to get in there and mix it up, but you stay technical for 12 rounds. That is not.
Yeah, but the problem is, it was who he was doing it against. A slob. That just brought nothing to the table.
That is not an easy task. And I mean, I wouldn't sit here and say that Joseph Parker is a slob because he fought a similar fight against Joseph Walker. Except he came in with the game plan to stay away from Parker the entire time. So, I mean, for me, look, man, it takes a lot of discipline to do what these guys are doing. I think AJ is a guy that naturally wants to get in there and mix up because he is the power puncher. He does like to finish his opponent.
Do you really believe that?
For him to get inside of the ring and go 12 rounds with guys that could get inside of him and basically outbox him on the inside and beat him, I think that's an incredible feat to accomplish. I mean, I don't want to downgrade that.
Why did Andrade Ruiz come in fatter than before? Why did Andrade Ruiz come in fatter than before? In the first fight?
Because we ate too many chalupas, takis, and turkeys.
I heard it was Snickers and Mars bars.
In my opinion, I
don't want to diminish Andy Ruiz for his first win, but the second time, I do think Andy Ruiz, he didn't take it serious, man. You know, in boxing, you can't halfway do boxing, right? And I think Ruiz is a classic example of somebody that has never fully taken his career 100% serious. He went into the second AJ fight thinking that because he won so easily the first time, he was going to be able to repeat that same pattern. But you can't repeat the same pattern when somebody is basically in training camp working their ass off and doing everything they can not to get stopped again.
Right.
Going it's a different. You have to be adaptable in the sport of boxing. And I think Andy Ruiz is first and foremost. We can see that he's not a hard worker. He's lazy, and he went into that fight and he paid for it. It is what it is.
Here's my thoughts, just quickly. The credit that I give to Joshua is that for the rematch, that he showed me that he's mentally strong, because a lot of people are even saying, don't take the rematch immediately, take a tune-up fight. You got stopped, pretty bad in the first fight. So he showed me that he's mentally strong. But other than that, he's skilled. I mean, this is he just outboxed a fat guy. So I can't really give him more credit. Skill-wise, he didn't show me anything special, man. He's
should have
bigger
went
than
in
the
and
guy.
fucking wailed him.
He's bigger, so he has a decent job enough to keep that fat guy away. That's pretty much it.
The
Mentally,
fact that a dude came in that fat and he didn't drill him, that didn't look good for him.
Yeah.
I think the pressure of that occasion got to him, and I think that's why he fought like that. I think I don't think he's going to come and fight like that against Fury. I think he's going to show a lot more. I think it's going to be a closer fight. Do you know what I mean? I just think the situation. I mean, look, he had the world at his feet, and he went to America thinking all he had to do was just turn it, and it went horribly wrong for him on the night. And it was a long road back for him. And like the caller said, I mean, you got to give Anthony Joshua credit for the way he bounced back, the way he made adjustments and changes to his camp. The man was dedicated to get them belts back, and you got to give him credit for that. But right now, confidence is very low with the guy. I saw that in the Ruiz second fight, but I still think that I think he's going to be a better Joshua when he goes in there with Pulev. I think that win probably could have bounced him back a little bit.
Here, can I tell you this? What I heard Manuel Stewart say, right when Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Hassan Rahman.
What?
Right. Emmanuel Stewart said basically after the fight, Lewis goes up to him and says, "I want a rematch." Right away.
Yep.
Right. He goes up, "I want a rematch right away," and he goes and he goes in the eyes down. Right, and he said Lewis didn't look like he had a care in the world. He wasn't worried about it. He says, "I'll get him in the rematch."
Right.
And so they made the rematch, and on the day of the rematch, he slept for about 6 or 7 hours. So he did on the day of the rematch.
Oh yeah,
and he went into the fight. He went into the fight, and he went in and he smiled. He smiled at Emmanuel Stewart. He goes, "I got this." He goes, "No worries." He goes, last time he caught me. This time it was a different story." And he went in there to destroy Hassan Rahman. Wasn't a guy who lost confidence. I think AJ in his way he lost his confidence in the second Andrade Ruiz fight. That's what I've seen from him. And if we're going to compare that to a guy who is self-confident in himself, to a guy who, who has to work hard to get that confidence. That's what I'm comparing to, right? Because Tyson Fury got sparked out on the 12th round and he got up, and I think in that there moment, I think that gave him confidence. And I can take this guy's power and I can get up. So it's a different mentality. Came off from both situations.
Not only did he get up, he got up and he rocked the shit out of Wilder.
Yeah.
And I kind of get your point there too, Brian. Like you come back off of a loss or fight or whatever. That's why I don't like to hear L Dog and that silly shit. He was dropped by such and such and such. Look, it's one thing when a fighter gets dropped. It's the same thing I said about Rosario versus fucking what's his face, J-Rock. Sometimes a fighter gets buzzed or gets dropped, and their whole career changes. They give up on themselves. That ain't Fury. How long he got dropped by Wilder? He came back and completely demolished him. AJ got dropped by freaking Andy Ruiz and came back with a totally different game plan to stay the hell away from him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's a difference between working out a game plan and having inner self-confidence in yourself. That game plan was to not get hurt.
All right.
And to take, but it worked for him. He became the champion. I give him all the respect in the world. So that's what
Exactly. I agree with that. That's what I was saying. Good point, Brian. Good point. Guys, we're going to have to call it a day here. It's been 3 hours. So.
Alrighty. Hey, did you guys beat? I'm going to listen to it on the show. I'll go back and listen. But what time did you guys talk about Rosario and Charlo, the first fight?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about. Can I just ask you, Bucho? Did you think Was that the most bizarre stuff, the way he went down and convulsed
We talked about it
from a jab off his soaplex? Dude, I've never ever seen anything that in all my life. And usually when you've been, because I can tell you, dude, these one of those things I can relate to. Whatever anybody pros going in there, Nicky's done me to the body ugly before. I know what it's like to lay there, dude, and not be able to grab a breath. You can't roll over and get up on your feet the way he did. See how he was getting up on his feet?
Yeah,
he kind of get up on his feet and then drop back down. That doesn't, when you really been gut shot,
when you get like that,
you can't get a grasp of air, and you're like, and you're trying to fight. He convulsed. Nobody convulses. Convulsions meaning you're over gulping air. You can't take air in a real liver shot. The minute you let the last bit of air out of your body, you literally think you're gonna die. You sit there, you get all hot. You're like, oh my God, I can't breathe.
You're right, Jimmy.
You can't get up and move.
When you get hit to the body, that's it. Like you lose all the air, and then your legs. Like you just gotta go down. But you don't start.
Yeah, you'll bang your legs sometimes. You'll bang your leg, but dude, you cannot get up. And I know it because I've done it. I've had Mickey go over and he tells, "All right, dude, breathe." And he lifts up my jock strap. He would lift it up. He'd like breathe and he'd be giggling, which always made it worse. And I'd want to say "fuck you," but I couldn't even fucking get to you because I know air left. Dude, I know what it's like. You don't get over the way he did it and suddenly fall back over. That was something. I'm not saying he was paid to duck. Maybe he wanted to get out of there. Maybe he felt hurt more than we thought, and he was looking for a way out. But that was very fucking shady. I just want to put my 2 cents on that.
All right, guys, we gotta call it a night. But thank you for joining us, everybody in the chat as well. We'll see you next time. All right, take care.
Have a good one, guys.
Excellent.
Hey, people, hit the like button. Come on.